up, everybody?
Hey!
What's up? Look at this. Holy crap. It looks so weird to see that many people on the screen, man. That's like, holy shit.
Looks like
wow.
a jam.
What's that?
Looks like a jam piece.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's awesome. Hey, thank you guys for doing this, first of all. That's really, really gracious of you. I appreciate all your time. I enjoyed all my hangouts and show and tells with you guys. So I figured good group to have some good fun with again, all together at the same time. So yeah, thank you again. Hello to everybody else still stuck in the chat. Wish we could see and hear you guys. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works, as you know. Mr. Redjack, I know you have taken off already, but thanks for dropping in and saying hello. What's up, Rickster? Good to see you. Good evening, CJ, as always. And the first jokester. What's up, Marcus? I wonder how long before debate breaks out. Hopefully soon, or hopefully not too long. You know. What's up? Number one Marvel fan. Good to see you, as always. And yeah, I gotta watch you guys here in the studio with me, posting comments as well. So I gotta make sure I have to waste my time highlighting you guys. Dwayne's a pain. What is up? Howdy to you. Good to see you. And there we go. Look at that. Carl collects comic art. Shit. Okay? So your entire channel now, your whole YouTube account has changed. Okay, I got what happened there. I got to tell you, Carl. I like your original name better because it was 2 words. Now it's like kind of a mouthful. Carl collects comic art. It's like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, right? But cool, perfect. First of all, happy to see you here. Everybody, for those of you who were here last week, you'll remember Carl was my guest last week with the show and tell we did. Carl Sodergren. And I just want to mention, here, let me actually put this here in the chat. I'm putting a direct link here. If you want to open this up in a different browser, that's Carl just opened. He decided to open a channel with his YouTube account, and has decided that he's going to be doing little unboxing videos. So I was like, that's pretty cool. The more the merrier. I love that. It's always fun to sort of share vicariously in the joys of other collectors as they open their purchases. And so that link I just put in, it will go. It should go directly to the one and only video he just posted a couple of days ago. So only 6.5 minutes long, so it's not a lot to ask. Check it out if you love unboxings. And he's doing well, given that it's only a couple of days and he has really no way to advertise it. Carl, you've got over 100 views already on the video. That's really awesome. So congrats there. But you only have 4 subscribers. So obviously, everybody, if you like unboxings that are comic art related, go check out Carl's channel and hit the subscribe button as well. Okay, so what else do I have to mention before we get into this? What else? Okay, so we got Carl. Oh, and by the way, Carl, thank you for subscribing to me, by the way. I am one of those 4 subscribers, just so you know. Yes, okay, so here we go. I'm just going to grab another link here. All right, so let me put this one now into the chat. For those of you who are not getting, notifications, because people always complain that they don't get notifications for my show, my channel, whatever. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. But that's a link to Karen's latest, well, not her latest video. She put two videos out in one day. One 29-minute video, really, really good one, where she shows her personal process for determining her bidding strategy, basically, bidding at auction. So a lot of fun. And she actually recorded herself bidding on a piece live. And for those of you who get nervous when the lot you're interested in comes up for you to bid on, which I think a lot of us do, including me, imagine how much more nerve-wracking it was that she was recording it so she could later post it online. So really awesome video, so check that out. And then, Karen, what are you doing to me here? And then later that same day at night, she posted a video short. So like, I believe 1 minute long. And so let me put that link in here. And that is, let's just say, go check it out because it's only 1 minute long. It's a very titillating video. I mean, not that she's doing the titillating, but the art she shows is titillating. So check that out. If you like GGA, you'll enjoy that. Let me
Glad
see.
you clarified that, Rubén.
What's that?
I'm glad you clarified that.
That it wasn't her doing the titillating. Well, it might come off sounding the wrong way. I just, I wanted to make sure she understood I was being respectful and not trying to, yeah. But I think I kind of feel like Miki. Like, I kind of feel like maybe you're trying to start shit with me to make me look bad or something. I don't know.
I don't like Karen's videos unless she's climbing inside of a box.
I don't know when she'll buy another large piece like that again, but who knows? You never know. But let me see. So there was Carl, and then Karen 2 times. I believe we're done until later in the show when I'll give Nikki B his plug. Yeah, so we're good. Let me jump back into the comments real quick. Just say hello to the rest of you who are here because a bunch of comments came in. Thanks to everybody watching, by the way. Appreciate it all. Scott Wingo, what is up? And of course, Carl's comment I can get rid of there. Jeff Wedding, good to see you. Yes, evening. Scott, I'll have you on at some point. I want to do more roundtables. They're fun. So I'm going to have to get you on for that. And who else we got here? A 6-panel. Marcus, more and more, your jokes are going over my head. Did any of you guys in the studio with me know what he's trying to say? 6-panel.
So there's 6 of us. It's like a 6-panel page. There's six of us on the screen.
Oh, maybe you meant page. Forgot the G.
Page.
Yeah, we're like a 6-panel page.
Okay, but horizontal, What's up, John Brown? Good to see you. And what do we got? That is a full house indeed. Evening to you. Good to see you, Mikhail. And there's Karen. Hi. Hello, Karen. And all the way from Oz. What is up, David? Good to see you. My lovely wife says hello to all of you, fellas. And Paulie P, what is up? Good to see you, sir. Let me see. And of course, hellos to you guys again from David. And Free Comics, what's up, sir? And what do we got? Anybody else new? Vivian, Karen, sub it. I hope you subbed it, Marcus. Oh, what's up? What's up, Mike? Chocolate Comic can change his name to 4Cs. That's not taken, is it? Yeah. I don't really like that name, to be honest. What does it mean? Tom Kadzalowski, good to see you, sir. What's up in Chicago? And anybody else? Oh, look at that. Daniel Burtis is back again. Good evening to you, sir. Nice. Wow. Been a couple of weeks, Comic Art Boston. Wow. Been a while, it has. Maybe they try. I know you've been traveling. I know. Are you in for, again, checking in for a little while? Okay, cool. Excellent. Nice to have you back, my friend. Excellent. Extra pressure. I don't know for who, not for me. The Karen's blooper reel cracks you up. They're always pretty awesome, right? And she knows it. And that's why she always tells people, don't skip to the bloopers, What else? Ruin the Creeper. Come on, man. Don't make me look bad. Carl, do that for us. What else is up? Okay. Oh yes. Thank you, CJ. You're doing Nick's job. What's up? Page is what you meant. Thank you, Marcus. We appreciate it. Thankfully, at least one of us had figured that out, And Gil, what's up? Good to see you again. Thank you for returning. Man, you're becoming a regular. That's always nice to see. And the topic is essentially all the different, we're going to be talking about all the different sorts of sources where we can acquire comic art from. And we're going to discuss what the, all these gentlemen's favorite ways of acquiring art, the less favorite ways. what they feel are pros and cons, about some of those ways. And of course, the rest of you guys in the chat, as usual. I want to hear from all of you guys too. So don't be shy to ask questions or just throw out your opinions on that as well. That'd be really appreciated. So thank you, everybody. There's 28 watching. 7 of you haven't hit the thumbs up. If you don't mind, please hit the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And that's it. So let me get rid of this. Okay. Oh, sorry. There we go. Never can. Oh, I only get pre-cut original art straight from the sea. Nice. And that's why you say never can. Nice, man. Nice. I hope you're burning in Las Vegas. Let's just say that. Okay. With that being said, everybody, again, thank you to everybody watching. Let's get into this. So, as I was saying, for those of you in the chat right now, yeah, right. Nice. I appreciate that, even though you're a bullshitter, but thank you. I appreciate that. So for everybody watching, whose voices we can't hear live in the studio, I just want you to know, and for if you haven't seen the hangout episodes and show and tell episodes that I've done with these 5 gentlemen that are here with me in the past, I just want to put out there right now, you should know that 4 of them are what we can sort of say longtime veterans in the comic art hobby, with Jason being the only newer one. Have we hit the 4-year mark yet, Jason?
March will be 4 years.
Wow, so still not quite 4. Okay, 3.5. We'll keep saying 3.5. Okay, yeah. So we have representation from veteran and newer people alike, which is good. And that way we can kind of see, compare and contrast, what people's experiences are, good evening to you, Kenneth. Good to see you. So with that being said, if it is okay with you, Miki, as the most tenured collector here, I figure I'd start with you. I just want to know what your feelings are. First of all, in all the time you've been in the hobby, has the way that you like to acquire art, has it changed at all? Or do you still prefer buying art the same way you always kind of preferred it? It's a kind of a bit of a trick question in the sense that you've been around since pre-internet, right? So you had you only had certain ways of doing it in the pre-internet, and then since post-internet, of course, everything changed, and you've got all that experience as well. So I don't know. You can. I guess I prefer to hear from you, since most of us are internet and onwards. I prefer to get your opinion and your views on post-internet, how things have been for you.
Well, yeah, I want to say that buying art directly from the artists at conventions has always been my preferred way to buy art, and still is.
Okay.
And the problem is that back in the old days, that was the predominant way to acquire art.
Right.
Now, it's probably, I don't get as much art directly from the artists at conventions anymore, just because the stuff has been scattered so much, and most artists have got reps that sell their art, or a lot of their art is gone. So many people showing up at conventions don't have stacks of art like they used to have in the old days. Back in the old days, you go to San Diego, and you have Artist Alley was huge. Every artist had a stack of art that you could look at. That's all changed now.
Right.
So I still prefer to get it from the artists, but
yeah,
I don't have as much opportunities anymore.
If you could, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, because as you know, when you talk about getting art directly from the artist, I mean, typically we're talking about buying contemporary stuff, right? So what if we talk about just sort of more vintage stuff that's already, let's say, decades old. Then what is your preferred way of doing it now? And has that changed since the 90s, let's say?
Well, back in the 90s when I was buying art, I was buying contemporary art. I wasn't buying a lot of, so I was buying art from the artists that they had.
Okay.
So I was not seeking to buy a lot of older art.
True, but having said that, I mean, people have seen your gallery. They know you still have quite a good selection of, well, you got some nice Silver Age pages, Legion, and whatever else. So that kind of stuff, obviously, you were not buying from the artists, right? Right. So that stuff you probably bought from conventions, from dealers, online eBay, right? Dealers online, auction houses, bidding. So from that, point of view, which one of those areas do you prefer, or which ones are there any that you don't like?
It's hard to make a preference when you go in for that type of art, because it's all dependent on the art itself. It all depends on what the art is. You can get art from dealers, you can get art from eBay, you can get art from the auctions. It all depends on what it is, as what is the best location to get that art. Like in the beginning, I used to get a lot of stuff off Heritage. Back when Heritage, was coming on. Today, I don't get as much off from Heritage because I find the prices on Heritage are much higher than anywhere else.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like being priced out of Heritage.
Okay, that's a good segue for me to say, do the rest of you guys here in the studio with me, first of all, do you feel the same way? Would you, and anybody can jump in terms of specifically the Heritage thing? Do you guys agree? Have you felt and noticed that things typically tend to be higher? They sell for more because of the heritage factor?
100%. Yeah.
You feel that, Scott? Yeah. Okay. So you're convinced.
I don't think there's any
Auction
secret.
houses and art reps are the two worst things that have happened to the hobby for the collector.
Okay, I'll get back to that. Sorry, Ceasar. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I think they sell more at Heritage. I haven't bid. Oh, that's not true. I bid on one auction this year.
That's it?
That was it.
Wow.
On Heritage. Before that, it had been 2 years since I even bid on an auction.
Really?
Yeah. There was one piece that brought me out this year.
So you're not even saying that it's like, I've been bidding and just losing. You're saying you haven't even been really trying for the last 2 years.
I haven't even tried for 2 years.
Wow, that's really interesting.
I'll track them. I'll watch them.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I haven't bid yet.
But you still don't. Okay, so you'll track stuff you like, but you still don't even bother to give it a shot. Put a bid in.
No.
Okay, and is the reason because you're convinced in your head, I'm not going to get it anyways? Why bother?
Right, exactly.
Wow, man. Okay, now I'm not saying this to sound mean, but don't you feel that that's kind of a defeatist attitude? Because unless you try, how do you know? How do you really know?
No. I track an auction till it hits a certain point and said, well, I'm not going to bid no more. So there's no point in bidding.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because you will track it, but what you mean is when it goes live, you will be there live to watch what happens?
I usually don't even get to that point. It's usually beyond me before it hits live.
Oh, because it's already gone at more than you want to pay. Okay, before it's live. Wow, that's okay. Wow, like that often?
That often.
Wow. Okay, Dan, I know you wanted to say something. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so getting to Heritage, I think one of the things everybody here would, if you've experienced it, a lot of people put auction pieces up within the auction with the expectation that whatever the sale is in the auction will be applied to whatever they're bidding on in the auction. Does that make sense? So you have piece A that you're auctioning. Let's say you have a Frank Miller piece. You're auctioning that, and you're telling Heritage, I'm going to use that as credit towards whatever I bid on later on in the auction. That has created, in my opinion, kind of like a tornado of upward spiraling prices where you have certain collectors who can go in with vintage pieces. I'll give you an example. I was shocked at this one, but there's a Frank Miller piece in this week's Heritage Signature auction that I did not think would go for. I believe it went for $155,000.
What? Was that the Daredevil page?
No, it was the Dark Knight ad.
Oh, the Dark Knight piece, right?
With
right.
Robin, right? I mean, Frank Miller is a artist that's alive. He's still producing art. I know it's old. I know it's Dark Knight. I know it's vintage. But to hit over 100, I believe it was 155,000. The only way I see that happening is you have two people who really wanted it, who are in the auction with prior pieces. They're auctioning those pieces in the auction, and they're saying, "I'm taking the proceeds from those pieces, and I'm putting everything. I'm all in. I want this piece." And they're putting all of their proceeds into that one particular piece that they want, and that drives up the price. That's one strategy. That, you know, it happens. I track a lot of things in Heritage. There's a lot of things I like, but again, I'm not actively buying right now, but I do track them. Okay. And the other thing I see is, you know, the art dealers themselves are driving up the prices because they want inventory. If they don't have the inventory, they're not going to get people like me looking at their website, right? So
in your, Dan, in your opinion, in your view, how specifically would you say the dealers are causing the hobby inflation that you just sort of?
I'd say probably 15 to 20%.
Oh, no. Sorry. What I meant to say is, how is it that happens? Like, are you trying to say that, well, you see them buy it at, I don't know, at an auction or whatever?
I'll give you an actual example. Right. So there was a cover. It was a Hulk cover, and I know who won the Hulk cover, which was Mike Berkey at Ramita Man.
Right.
Because I was bidding against Mike.
Okay.
And I can tell you that Mike used it. He's got it on Ramita Man. He's selling it on Ramita Man, and he's selling it at a premium from what I bid it up to against him. So that's automatically inflated the price.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, if he was buying it for resale, obviously it would have to be higher than what you had bid it up to because he won it ultimately. So it has to be even at a profit above what he paid for it, right?
But it drives the price up for the whole hobby.
See, what I will say to that, what I've always said to that argument is there is some truth, yes, to that, but it's not 100% fact. Because, see, the thing about it is a lot of collectors I've heard over the years complain about that. Okay, fine. And yes, I do agree. Sometimes it's true. I remember seeing, some guys win it, and then a few weeks later on the website, and it's like, for a lot more. Here's the thing, though. Sometimes the dealer will win it for a below market value price, but the average collector is not as in tune with all the prices and the values of all types of art. So all they see is, he bought it for this much, and now it's X percentage more on his website. And they complain, look at the hobby inflation. Whereas I look at it and I'm like, okay, that one's okay. He definitely got it undervalued, and now it's priced at around the, let's say, high end of the fair market value range. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with you. I mean, I know what you're saying, and it's the free market, and it's great that it bore out that price. But if you look at it, if you start to look at some of the things that are going on within the hobby, you've got dealers out there who need to find inventory. They have pieces that they've held on to for years that they are going to be able to auction off for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then they're going to be able to come in and get the newer art at slightly higher prices. There you go. You see, you got the piece sign up. Slightly higher prices. because they've made the investment, and that's fine. I mean, that's part of the business, and that's part of something that we as collectors have to be cognizant of. I don't mind it. I've actually won things on Heritage, so I don't mind. But to say that it doesn't drive up prices is kind of I don't want to say it's wishful thinking, because it's one thing that's pushing up the price. There's a lot of things that are pushing up the prices. And in fairness to Mike Berkey, Mike is an incredible collector who's been in the business for years, who has really paid his dues as far as collecting those collecting that John Romita that he has. So if he's auctioning that, liquidating that in Heritage, or liquidating any of the other covers he has, and then turning that around into inventory, that's a business strategy, and that's legitimate. So I don't fault him for it. But again, if we as individual collectors are in there and we don't have a private investment fund behind us, or or some type of Bitcoin fund behind us, it's going to make it very, very hard to acquire a lot of the things that a lot of people want. Because in the hobby, one of the things, and I feel like this is one of the biggest things that's a challenge for the hobby, is you used to collect a piece, flip the piece, and be able to buy or upgrade to a piece that you really, really, really wanted that was historical. Now the historical pieces are at extremely high market value prices. And even if you flip the earlier pieces that you had, you have to flip them in volume in order to make enough money to be on Heritage to buy that really, really critical piece that you want. And that's a challenge for a lot of, I think, younger collectors, and it gets them frustrated. And then they're like, oh, you know what? I'm never going to be able to reach that level, right? And that's why we have to be careful as a hobby, and really respect what some people are collecting. Listen to the artists, encourage the artists to come out with newer images. Really reach out to the younger people, and offer things out there, because I just feel like one of the things that really does affect the hobby are these high-end collectors. And I feel like there's probably museums out there right now, movie producers out there right now, art dealers out there right now, all competing for this art. And it's made it very, very difficult for the lower end to get in.
Okay. Jason, let's go from vet to newer collector. Any thoughts on all of this?
The only thing I use Heritage for is research. Just kind of see what's out there, what's been sold. Yep, data.
Gathering.
I like to see what's in their auctions, but it's too big of a pond for me to swim in. The pieces are typically high end, which is great, but to look at, but not something I can play with. It's intimidating to a new guy. I mean, when you look at Heritage's website, it's proxy bidding, live bidding, cut bidding. It's just all this stuff going on, and where do you jump in with that if you're new to that format?
Are you saying the format overwhelms you?
It does. I'm looking forward now to checking out Karen's new video. I'll watch her and see how she does it. But compared to something like Comic Link, I throw in my bid. If I get outbid, I know I'm outbid, and I can throw in another bid. The format of Heritage just kind of intimidates me. I don't know if it intimidates me, but just is too complicated for me, that there's a proxy bidding, then there's maybe live bidding, and then what if I'm not available to be there for the live bidding, all that kind of stuff. And then when you watch these live shows and you hear of some of the big fish that are at these auctions, it's, well, if so-and-so is interested in a piece, there's no way I'm going to even challenge, some of the bigger guys in the hobby. So I might as well stick to newer pieces that are out there from newer artists that are maybe not going to fetch the kind of top dollar, or some of the smaller auctions. And I'm happy if I have a piece from a artist that I really like. I'm not going to have their cover, but if I have a panel page and it was a fraction of the cost and I was able to get it, I'm happy with it. I have an example of their artwork, and that's cool to me.
Right. So let me circle back to you, Scott. Because I'd like to hear maybe a little bit more from you on that comment you made, which of course, which of course is you know, it can be considered you know, whatever word you want to use, but the thing you said about the art reps in particular. Are you there, by the way, still?
Well, I'm here. My camera shut off.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought, yeah. Okay, you're back.
I'll probably disappear again.
Okay.
Dan hit the nail on the head with a lot of what he said. Basically, the reps are doing a service to the artist in most cases by alleviating the issue of them moving their art. But I think in most cases, instead of the artists paying them for this service, the reps are upcharging the art.
Okay. I'm going to let you sort of expand on that if you want, but let me just interject, okay, real quick. I just want to make one point at least. So I've sold art on consignment myself. I don't know, for 18 years or something like that. Never for more than 4 artists at a time. And I gotta tell you, like I don't talk to like other dealers, and I've never once went to another dealer and said, hey, how do you go about doing this? Or how do you? I just did my thing the way I thought was the right way to do it, right? And the way I always did it was, okay, if I'm selling art on behalf of an artist, I just kind of know their market already anyways, and I kind of price it up. Sometimes we talk it over with the artist. We price it up to what we think is the fair market value, right? And then eventually, at some point, the artist pays me out of pocket, right? So like I hear a lot of collectors over the years say things like, wow, those art reps, you got the price of the art, and then they're tacking on their commission, and of course the art's going to go up in price or whatever, but I never once in my life did that. I'm like, who do people really do that? Like, I don't know. I really don't know, but I never did that. And to me, it makes no sense. It's like you're providing a service for the artist. It's like you work for that artist. So that artist should be paying you out of his pocket, out of the total sum that they get from the artwork sold, a certain percentage. That's how you do it. You price it at fair market value, whatever you think fair market value is, right? And then out of the fair market value should come, in other words, out of the artist's pocket goes the rep's commission. That's how I've always done it. Of course, never would have had 10%, 20%.
There's a lot that definitely don't do it that way, though.
Yeah, let me interject. Let me inject for a second.
Okay.
What I have found is that you have an art rep that takes over a bunch of artists, and then immediately the price of that art from that artist jumps.
That I've seen. That I've seen. The same Ladwig, Alex Rock. I remember that.
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you have these reps that have a conglomerate of artists, and you've got like 4 or 5 reps that got like 10 or more artists under their wing, and so you got a huge amount of inflation just from that. So that's what I've been seeing. Carry on.
Okay. Scott, if you don't mind, can you expand a little bit? Like where do you see with your own eyes? Like where do you sort of see, you don't have to mention names, but like for you to be able to say that legit, oh, I know that some representatives definitely, oh yeah, they have, the artwork priced at a certain way. And then when you see it on the website, it's definitely priced a certain percentage above fair market value, because that's kind of what you're saying, right? Or no?
Yeah. Basically, you can tell which reps are the hype men and are getting that premium, which they're doing their job for their artists. They're getting their artists the most money they can out of their artwork, and they're getting their stipend on top of it. And you can't fault them for that. It's just a part of the hobby.
Yeah.
Those are the artists or the reps and the artists that I tend to stay away from. I only kind of look at secondary market for those particular pieces. Hopefully come across that collector who's hard up for some cash or wants to turn something quick for another piece, and then maybe pick it up at what should have been a more reasonable price to begin with.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I just, that's why I want to discuss this kind of stuff, because, it kind of irks me every time I do hear like a collector say, as a blanket statement, "Oh, those art reps, they're causing all this hobby inflation." And I'm like, what? I never did anything like such a thing. Like, I only raised the price, after a long time when you see the hobby inflation has been, going up tremendously. And finally I realized, hey, maybe I should raise the prices on this guy's art a little bit, but that's it. I never have I thought, yeah, okay, so let's see. I think this is the market value. Let me add X percentage to that for my commission. Like, no, I don't know. And I've had collectors tell me that that's what some reps do. And I'm like, really? I just find it hard to believe that somebody would. And how does that even work? Would the rep be told by the artist, hey, you're already priced. Here's the prices. Yeah, you charge whatever you want on top of that. That'll be your commission. Like, does that happen at all? Or like, because.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Yeah, I'm sure there's some artists that set their dollar amount. And, there's probably all sorts of deals being made. Definitely no industry standard.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Well, sure. You got to, everybody works their own way,
I've got a question. Yeah, I've got a question for you guys. So even as the new guy in the hobby, I've been around long enough to have seen pieces sold in a live sale or an online sale of some sort, and then see it show up in an auction or a dealer's website in just a matter of weeks, months, a short period of time. So my question is, like, pre-pandemic, pre-2019, how long would it take for you guys to see a piece that maybe you saw in an auction or maybe you knew a dealer had before you would see it in another person's website? It seems like it flips really quick now, and I think that drives up the price, because if I just bought a piece a month ago and I'm trying to sell it already, in this hobby with this many live sales and this many people watching, I mean, it's unlikely that I'm going to flip it for much. And if I try to flip it, then I've raised the price of the market, versus probably years ago. I'm guessing that didn't happen so much.
In my experience, flipping has always been there.
Okay.
It was there since once the internet became the thing. You saw pieces being flipped all the time. People bought stuff from eBay, and it'll show up on a dealer's site, and then it's flipped on another dealer's site. I saw it happen quite a few times. So,
okay.
Flipping has been part of this hobby since the beginning.
Yeah, well,
now there's literally stuff that will be in consecutive auctions. And Comic Link is bad about that. There'll be, you buy something in Comic Link, you can sell it in the next auction.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot now.
But
I don't think it was as prevalent before.
Are you, Scott? Are you saying that you tend to see consecutive auctions of the same auction house, or buying on one auction house and then at the next auction, let's say buying at Heritage and then trying to sell it at the next Comic Link or whatever? Is that what you mean?
With Comic Link specifically, I have seen multiple pieces go in consecutive auctions.
In their own same auction?
In their own auction, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about other auction houses. It probably has happened in other auction houses too. But
okay, and I'm curious, and I'll throw this out to you, Scott, and anybody else on the panel. Because especially you, Miki, because you were nodding your head in agreement. What do you think is the strategy in when those things happen?
I'm not sure what the strategy was, but I've seen happen on Heritage. I've seen multiple pieces go and show up in one Heritage auction, and maybe 2 auctions later show up again. And I don't know if that collector decides they want to flip the price, because Heritage offers you that option. You can always resell the piece on their auction site if you want to. So they offer you that option. So I don't know if that's what's happening. I'm really unsure. Or sometimes maybe a piece isn't paid for and maybe it then shows up in another auction. I'm not quite sure, but I've seen it happen in Heritage.
Right. And Scott, since you mentioned it, you're the one who brought it up. Do you have any theory as to why you see that happening?
Well, I think some people just think they got a deal and they can flip it.
Oh.
I think that's part of it.
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely countless reasons why it would happen, but I just think flipping is one of the big ones.
Okay. Yeah, because it see, to me, I would agree with that being the idea behind it if we were specifically talking about, let's say, buying on Comic Link, because in my experience, I love Comic Link as a buyer. You get tons of great art. Every auction I can, it's just, if you're not, especially if you're not going for big name artists, you're just looking for character content and stuff. Man, there's just so much stuff there that goes, to me, dirt cheap. So I can understand if I saw people buying from Comic Link and then sending it off to Heritage because they believe, Heritage gets the higher prices. But I find it kind of like, it doesn't make sense to me, the theory that, let's say somebody bought it on Comic Link and they think they got a good deal, and you're sending it right back into the same auction house you got the good deal for. Like, to me, it seems like counterproductive, because I would be thinking if I got it for such a good deal here, maybe it's because it's not just because, people forgot about the auction. It's more likely to be because, it's Comic Link and they don't attract as many viewers as Heritage. So therefore, you're more likely to end up with a very similar result if you buy it from Comic Link and resend it back to Comic Link. No?
You do, but I also think we're forgetting something here. I don't think it's malicious in some ways. I think it might be, and this is just my observation on some of them. Yes, Scott, you're right, and Miki, you're right. They do show up. They do repeat. Some of them, though, I think are inside jokes. There's like a particular Avengers page that I've seen go around so many times that it's almost like inside the hobby. It's like, oh, you got that page now? Oh, I should own that page. Oh, yeah, when's it going to be up for auction? And then somebody changes hands, and that page is just kind of like running through 5 or 6 different collectors' hands because it's kind of a running inside joke.
Right.
So I can see that happening. Now, does that happen all the time? No, not. I won't say it's there, but I would say that inside the hobby, that has been something that has happened in the past, where that one particular page from Gene Colan from Tales of Suspense, or the cover to Avengers 236. I own that a year ago, and you've got it now. Oh, and who'd you get it from? And they got it from so and so. That it happens a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before, where a piece changed hands like 5 or 6 times. I actually 20 years ago ended up with a piece that did that, and the prediction was that's going to change hands again. I still have it. So, sometimes the buck stops someplace.
You stopped. Yeah, you stopped it. Thank you. It takes guys like you, Miki, to stop the constant flipping of the same piece over and over, Marcus, so if I remember correctly, aren't you talking about the certificates? I mean, all the certificates that they've always sent me, they've never been without fees. It's always, use this. This certificate is good for half of the usual seller fees, whatever the seller fees are at that moment. They've never given me any certificates to sell for no seller fee. It's always half. So instead of the 20% official fee, they're basically certificates so that you can use them and you only get charged 10%. But I don't know. Maybe you get more special service from Heritage than I do. I don't know. Those are the only certificates I'm aware of, though. Bootlegging. You bought something for dirt cheap from the Generation X. It was Tom Grumman piece. Are you talking about that splash where that guy with the kind of like long hair at the back, he's wearing a suit and he's looking in the mirror, and there's like a female character next to him, because that might be the one you're talking about. So the seller of that one, the consignor of that one, had asked me how much it was worth or whatever, and I nailed it pretty much on the head when he sent it into to the auction. So, but oh, sorry, you're talking to him here. Okay, Mike. So I think it's more nefarious. Sellers shilling their own piece too high, and then they win. Okay, that's what you guys were talking about, the whole Brookie thing. So let it ride to the next auction, and then don't shill so high next time. Do you guys? Okay, so you guys on the panel. Yes, I guess it's kind of a circle jerk. Do you guys on the panel, or show of hands, just real quick, who agrees with the following statement? Most dealers shill their own auctions. No, okay, interesting. I like that. That's good, because I was gonna, if I saw hands going up, I was gonna be like, oh god, this hobby's in worse shape than I thought.
Now,
Thank
if
God.
you want to say some dealers shill their own auctions.
Yeah, so right, we can say there's exceptions to the rule, but as a rule, no. Right? That's what we feel. Caesar, right. I'm not sure.
Some collectors shill their own auctions. It's okay. I mean, whatever.
Oh, well, yeah, no, we know, yeah, collectors, obviously, yeah. That's yeah. No, but that, you know, and as you know, just going back to the early eBay days, that's been happening forever, right? Since the beginning, right?
It's not new.
Right.
Our collectors have friends to shill their auctions for them.
Yeah.
Say again, Mickey.
So collectors have friends who shill bid for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Very true. You would think, I mean, because how hard would that be? Hey, buddy, do me a favor, man. Here, I just sent you the link to my auction. Could you just put a bid down on it, whatever? You know, yeah, right. I mean, it's not. Yeah, you can't stop something like that. That's, you know. But the thing is, like, when those of us, you know, who've been around so long, we used to talk about this topic back in the day, especially on Comic Art L Yahoo group. You know, you can tell somebody to do that, and again, because nobody can stop it, right? It's like we used to say, there's no point in complaining about it, because ultimately what really matters is, and yes, it sucks, of course it sucks, but as long as you bid, and if you bid, as long as you still get it for what you think is a fair price, it's kind of like that's the mentality you have to take. Like, even if you know it's probably or maybe being shilled, like, do you agree? You know what I mean? I
gotta say,
hold on, Dan, for a second. I'll give you the next say. Let me put it this way. For all of you, if you know, or you know, you're like 90% certain, you feel 90% certain this particular auction that you want bid on, like on eBay, forget Heritage or whatever, like eBay, let's say. You're 90% sure it's you know it's going to get shilled, whatever, because you know the guy or whatever, and his practices. Do you, if it's a piece you know that you typically collect that you want, do you bid? Do you guys bid anyways? As long as you're happy, you know, satisfying yourself, as long as, you know, if you, hey, because you think if I can get it for whatever I'm willing to pay, I'm still whatever, I'm happy to have it. Or do you take the holier than thou attitude of, well, fuck him, I'm not bidding at all just because I know he's a shiller? Like, what do you guys do? And anybody can answer.
I'm gonna have to want it pretty bad to go up against the show.
You're gonna want it pretty bad to go against the show. Okay, Mickey?
Yeah, same thing. It's got to be a piece I really want.
You really want? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I can get it at a price I like, I'll buy it. It's all right.
Yeah. I for the record, I am with you guys. I just I'm like, well, I already know it. Like, it's not a surprise, so whatever. I'll put down a bid. I think it's fair for me to own it, and that's it, right? So the way I see it is the shilling aspect of eBay, for instance. For me, the only thing that it does as a negative, truly, is yes, it takes away the potential that you could maybe get a deal, but but I look at it as more along the lines of, well, if this piece came up on some collector's gallery or somebody's dealer's website for that price, you know, the fair market value price, would I buy it? And of course I'd buy it because I want that. I'd like to have that piece, right? So that's kind of how I just look at it, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get a deal, but as long as I can get a fair price on it, whatever, I'll still bid, you know? Yeah. What about you, Jason? Because you're newer to the hobby. Because the moral compass, I think, might be a little bit different to somebody who's kind of new, and someone to whom this whole shilling thing might be like, what? People are doing what? What are you talking about? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it. You guys have said it. If it's a piece I really want, and it's within my budget, I guess I have to decide: is it, however the price got there, is it something I'm willing to pay for it? The longer I'm in the hobby and start to realize that, well, maybe this site marks its price up a lot, and maybe this dealer is more willing to deal. You know, there's some dealers that you send them a message and say, hey, would you take this for this piece, or would you do a combination? And they're more flexible than others. So you start picking out the ones that you want to deal with. And then if that amazing piece that you really wanted shows up on a site that you prefer not to deal with, then it's up to you whether or not the price is something you're willing to pay. I think, like Miki said earlier, that's why I like, you know, at a convention when you can see an artist's work in person and talk with the artist and, oh, hey, I like these two pieces. Would you take blank for it? Instead of, you know, it's a little more personal. You have a little more bargaining there. So yeah, I mean, that's how I started art collecting too. Was I was at a convention and I just wandered to Artist Alley, which is a place I had never been to really. I was always there for the comic books previously, and I just thought, hey, I'll go check this out. And then you start getting hooked on that. So worst thing I ever did. I should have stuck to the comic book. Now I'm spending even more money.
It's like rabbit holes. You know all about rabbit holes, right?
Right.
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly what Jason said. That's the part I miss the most, is like talking to the artists and buying stuff from the artists. And a lot of times artists will sort of direct you to things that they feel really proud of.
Mm-hmm.
A piece you may not have thought about, and he'll show you a piece and, oh yeah, look what I did with this piece, and here's what I like about it. And you go, yeah, I can see that, and now you want it. Whereas before, if you'd seen it on the website or something like that, you might not have just passed right by. So that's a difference when you buy it from an artist. You know, they tell you a little bit about what they put into the piece, and that makes it a lot more desirable to you.
Okay, well said. I want to make a quick follow-up comment about buying directly from artists. Let me just quickly interrupt. Sorry, guys. Really quick, just because we have more live viewers at the moment than we've had so far all night. I just want to tell everybody, next Sunday, I usually do this at the end of the show, but then there will be less people. So next Sunday, my show is going to be my final art sales related show for the year, for 2023. So here it is, Comic Art Show and Tell number 10. So unfortunately, I just was reminded a couple of days ago that it's Thanksgiving weekend, whatever. But oh well, if nobody shows up, nobody shows up. I'll still do a little bit of a sale, and I'm keeping it at the same time, and 8 o'clock on Sunday Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. I asked my friend Karen. We were emailing yesterday, and I asked her. I said, okay, as Americans, because I know it's always considered, you know, first of all, it's the biggest travel holiday of the year. I'm aware of that. Which always shocks me that people will travel, way more people travel in the United States for the Thanksgiving weekend than for Christmas. That blows my mind. But anyways.
That's because Thanksgiving is always on Thursday.
What's that?
That's because Thanksgiving is always on Thursday.
I know, but what does that
happen? The same every year. You can make plans.
Is that the reason?
You get Thursday, Friday off, and you have a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
If Christmas falls on a Tuesday, what good does that do you? I mean, you're not traveling.
Right.
Well, no, but everybody kind of, like, most people are already, by the time Christmas Eve rolls around, everybody's off. Most people are off from work already.
At some point, they got to go back during the week. So, you know, they're not traveling.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I just figured, you know, like a big Christian nation. I'm like, oh yeah, Christmas for sure is the big time holiday. And this was like about, I don't know, 10 years ago that I read this and it was like, oh my God, no, Thanksgiving, way more people than even Christmas. I was like, what? Wow. So anyways, that's very interesting. Yeah, so anyways, I just wanted to say, I asked Karen yesterday, I was like, well, okay, because everybody refers to it as, Thanksgiving weekend. So then I'm like, but do people who get together with their friends and family, do they tend to have the big dinner on the Thursday, or do they wait till the Sunday night and then that's when they have the, and she said, nah, you probably better off just keep your sale on the same usual Sunday night. You're probably better, because I was telling her, I was like, because I'm debating, maybe I'll do the sale on Saturday or Sunday, 1 or 2 in the afternoon Eastern, so 10, 11 Pacific. And she was like, no, just keep it. It's probably you have more people probably on the Sunday night. Do you guys agree?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Sunday night would be the best of any other thing. Sunday night.
Wow. Is that because by Sunday night, most of the people that have traveled, they're probably already traveling back to where they came from on Sunday?
It's
Yeah,
because
most of them have to go to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Say again?
Most have to go to work on Monday,
They have
so
to
they'll be
work on
back.
Monday again, right? So the Sunday's usually the travel day again, then, right?
Yeah, the hangover's worn off by Sunday, so you can make better judgments.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyways, whatever. So next week, everybody, come back. It'll be a sales show. There you go again. Last time. Thank you very much. 8:00, the usual time, Eastern. So thank you.
Yeah, but definitely not on a Friday. The Friday after Thanksgiving.
Mm-mm.
Right. Oh, you mean that would be the worst day?
Worst day.
Oh, the very next day, because everybody's stuffed from the turkey on Thursday, and they don't want to
Well, it's a big party day.
Oh! So everybody parties on the Friday?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when you go back home, you're meeting up with friends, you're meeting up with family, you're going to the bar,
Wow.
you're doing online shopping, you're going to shopping in person. There's lots of just stuff going on.
Oh, Friday. Isn't that what they call Black? Isn't that Black Friday?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't forget Wednesday's Knucklehead night. Wednesday night is the night you go out and really get hammered. And then you can go to Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday and recuperate.
Okay. All right. All right. So thank you. I appreciate the feedback. It's good to learn this stuff. So Marcus put a very interesting comment. Marcus, just so you know, I watched this late last night. I got around to seeing it on Rewind. So this is what I have to do. I'm going to read this out. Someone should call out Nikki B, because he was asking for super chats on Friday and then bidding thousands on Hembeck art yesterday, the next day, against the same people who donated to him. Okay. All I'm going to say, having watched the show, Nick's show on Rewind, what it seems to me, because I did fast forward the first few minutes or whatever. I wanted to get past the intro, and then I started seeing all these people donating money, and then I was listening, and I'm like, what's happening? What are they donating for? And then it seemed to me that the donations were just because he said something about I have to prove this is a business. The accountant says we have to show this is a business, so we have to make money at some point or something like that. Anyways, so I don't know what was going on. I probably should have rewound. But Marcus, you were there, so why don't you call him out? And listen, Nikki V's probably going to show up here in the next 15, 20 minutes. Why don't you call him out then? Right? I don't know. I don't know the story, so I'm not going to call anybody out.
I was on the show, Ruben. I was there. I actually gave him a super chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
What he was saying is that the channel has to show that it's making money in order to declare it as a business. Otherwise, it's just a hobby.
Right.
That's IRS rules. If you want to,
Right.
So you ask people to give him some money so you can say the channel is making money.
There's revenue coming in.
There's revenue coming into the channel.
Okay.
So I figure since I buy art from him,
Yeah.
I give him a little bit of extra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Well, there you go, Marcus. What can I say, man? I don't know. You've heard what Miki had to say. He was okay with giving a little bit extra bucks, as for the privilege, I guess, of seeing. Maybe Miki, you probably also see it kind of as an entertainment thing. We're like, oh, okay, well, he provides me with some entertainment on Friday evenings or whatever. Sometimes, why not? Whatever, I'll throw you a bone. Here's a few bucks, kind of thing, right? That kind of see it that way.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta admit, just the kind of my character, the personality that I have, when I was watching this, I was like blown away when I was realizing, oh, is he asking for money simply for the fact that, oh, I just want to show it's a business? Because I'm like, I could never do it. And I've said it in the past, like I don't qualify yet with my channel because it's so small. I'm still like 16 subscribers away from being able to take things like super chats or whatever. But I've always said, like, I don't want to, like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want people to send me money. Like, what is that all about? I don't know. I'm just too proud. It just seems really weird to me. So that's my takeaway. Is like, wow, for somebody to say, hey, can you give me some donations so I can prove that this is a business that generates revenue? I don't know. It's just weird. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but when I saw that, it was weird.
Yeah. It is the IRS rule.
Right.
Unless you generate some revenue, it's a hobby and not a business.
Oh no, I get it. I get that. Yeah. I mean, even Canada is the same thing, right? The understanding is, they don't want hobbyists to register a business so that they can then write off all the expenses that come along with buying, like shipping costs, things like that, right? When all you're doing is collecting, right? That's what they're trying to stop, right? So the definition of a business for our government is essentially, something that where you're at least making a legitimate effort to try to make a profit. That's how they kind of define it, So I get it, but yeah, whatever, man. Like I said, Marcus, man, if you got a problem with Nicky B, I'd like to see you take it up with him and see some shit start, especially if it happens here on this channel tonight. I'm always good. I'm always good for a good flame war. We haven't had those in like years, so why not? But now you're saying only one admitted to show. I'm not sure. This is a while back, so I'm not sure what you're getting at. Maybe you'll clarify that. I'm assuming you mean shield bidding. Sorry, guys. This is obviously going back. Let me see if I can catch up a bit here. Rick says, on eBay, I steer more towards buy it now. Well, sure, especially if it's at a good price, right? Or make seller an offer. I agree with that. How about you guys? Do you guys still do eBay, first of all? How many of you do eBay?
I still do eBay.
Yeah, I know.
I do eBay.
I do a ton.
Oh, a ton.
If the artist is on eBay, I'm on eBay.
Okay. Interesting. What about you?
I do very little. I mean, I bought a piece just the other day, but I don't buy a lot.
Interesting. I actually thought, Miki, that you were going to be like Ceasar. I was going to think that you and Ceasar probably did a lot. Wow, that's interesting to me. Okay, times have changed because you probably don't even bother looking anymore. Is that the reason?
Well, I look. Oh. I look every day.
Oh, wow. Yeah. There's just not shit that's of interest to you to go after, right? I guess for the most part. Wow. Jason, do you do much eBay or?
I don't do a whole lot of eBay. I look once in a while. I'm not really consistent about it. I guess part of it, I guess my fear is, screwing up and buying something that's counterfeit, or that's my fear, I guess, with that. If I'm buying from an auction house or I'm buying from a dealer, I feel like it's a more legitimate. I'm more likely to have, less problems, I guess, with the seller.
Right. Okay. It's funny because that's an interesting way in which we can say the dynamics of collecting in this hobby have changed in the decades since the advent of the internet, in the sense that when eBay came on the scene, which was like a year year and a half after the internet or the World Wide Web sort of became a thing. So most of us discovered eBay in the 90s, and then, oh, look at that. Oh, comic art. Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. let me bid on some of this stuff. And so everybody, I mean, that was the way to get most art that was trading hands,
Sure.
So it's interesting, especially for new people getting into the hobby. So interesting that almost 30 years later now, what is it, 28 years later, newer guys, at least, you're the only newer guy here tonight right now, but interesting to hear that you're not really an eBay guy. I would have thought that eBay was still the place for newer people in the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. I mean, what Dan said, I'll pay attention to. If the artist is on eBay, then I should probably be watching that.
Right.
If I just type in, I don't know, if I type in X-Men in eBay, X-Men original art, the first 200 things that come up are pinups of Rogue and scantily clad attire done by artists that I don't recognize. They're probably amateur. So, that's just not what I'm looking for. So I just get bored after scrolling through 200 pinups of Rogue or Psylocke. I'm looking for something else. So. Yeah.
So I was going to say to go to Caesar and Scott and Dan, since you use eBay, I was going to say, is it still predominantly, like if you go to the original art homepage, is it still predominantly 90% of what you first see, a bunch of scantily clad, badly drawn titty art? Like,
well, you got to learn to get good with your Boolean searches, so you can really narrow down what you're looking for. Otherwise, you will get, hundreds of pages of just shit, that you're looking through.
Right.
Then the other thing is you never know what you're gonna find when you search eBay. I on the comic book side, I collect Super Magician from the 40s, and never ever dreamed of getting a page from any of those books. And just randomly, when I was looking to upgrade one of my copies of one of the issues, I found a page from Super Magician from March of 1944.
Okay.
So, and if I didn't look, literally every day for certain things, stuff like that would just fly right by.
Okay. Out of curiosity, Scott, because you buy it, everybody knows, they can see behind you, you buy a ton of shit. Is most of your eBay purchasing comics, much more so than artwork, I assume? Or?
No,
No?
I don't know. It varies.
Okay.
It's probably 50-50 right now, because there's very little I look for there's a lot I look for. There's very little I need. So,
okay.
When I'm looking for Del 4 color, I don't come across a lot I need to fill the run.
Right.
Same way when you're looking for art, if I'm looking for Spectre, Jonah Hex, my two big searches, most of it is stuff that, doesn't appeal to me, or the same stuff that's regurgitated every week that people are asking 3 times too much for, or 10 times too much for.
Okay.
And they can just keep it up there.
Okay. Marcus, just so you know, for whatever reason, it's never really been a big thing, at least in the East where I am. We don't, it's for us, it's just always kind of been, it's a day off, it's a holiday or whatever, but it's not like a ton of people are traveling all over the country, getting together with family or whatever. So, yes. Yeah. More out west, like I said, more out west, there's people who do that more, but yeah, it's nowhere near as taken as seriously as in the United States. So don't know why though. Let me take a few more comments here. So Thursday dinner, Friday drinking out. One of the things is far nice. Well, that's what these guys are saying. Black Friday spending is done. Hangover and food coma. Yeah, Black Friday. That's another thing I heard, that Black Friday is the biggest spending day of the year, more than like any days around Christmas. Is that true?
I think that's true.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
Cyber Monday's competing with it, but it's
Yeah, because I was going to say, what about the big day of the year used to be the Boxing Day, right? The one after Christmas. And that and like the Black Friday thing, didn't that only come into existence like in the last, I don't know, 15 or 20 years? So I don't remember hearing about it before that.
Probably became more popularized as Black Friday.
Oh, but there was always a big sale day the day after Thanksgiving?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
As far as I recall.
interesting. Okay. Never knew that. Okay.
1869. I just looked it up.
Did you?
September 24th, 1869.
And what do they call it?
Black Friday.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
They
First
call it-
recorded use of the term.
And that's weird. Because,
And it applied to a post-Thanksgiving holiday shopping.
Wow. Thanks for the knowledge drop, man. I appreciate that. That's wild. Marcus, wow. You did call Nikki B out on Saturday during the Hembeck show. Wow. I should go in and check out the see what the live chat was like for that. That's interesting. I didn't get why Nick asked for okay. That's what I was saying before. Let's not get into that again. John C, what's up, brother? Do you need underwear money? I don't. I have enough underwear, but thank you. Wouldn't the sales show? What? Wouldn't the sales show? You mean wouldn't do a sales show? It's a business we pay. Sorry, Dwayne. I'm not getting the grammar. It's a business we pay to the company.
I think what he's saying is that since Nick is selling art on the channel,
Right.
that should be part of the business model.
Oh, right.
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Right. I think you're right, Mickey. And I think to sort of answer that is, and I'm just assuming, but I think the problem with the reason why that doesn't happen that way is because oftentimes what Nick's selling on his show is from his personal collection. You know what I mean? So then it gets complicated. You got to keep that shit separate, right? You can't be selling your personal shit, putting it through your business, whatever that you know. So I think it probably has to do with that, you know. Yeah. So I don't know. Scott. So for what it's worth, I did not do a super chat, I guess, to Nikki and competed with him at the Hembeck auction and did not feel a conflict. Okay. Thank you for stating your view on that. The art sale is from Nick's personal collection. Sales don't go towards the channel profits. Okay, there we go. Look at what I just said. Hey, Maki Poo Poo, what is up, sir? Nick was attempting to satisfy a regulatory requirement. Okay, thank you. Marcus was just joking. Okay. There are tons of people that operate a business and write off things on their taxes. It's kind of like how movie studios never see a profit from movies. Right. Okay. Wouldn't be Thanksgiving without a family fight. How many of the panelists have sales tax exemption? Why don't you answer that? Anybody?
Not me.
Not me.
No.
No?
Not for art, unfortunately.
No? Okay. There you go, Mikhail. Sorry I came to it 10 minutes late. And your last eBay purchase, of all people, from Fred Hembeck. That's awesome, Cap. I found a nice Geist page from Reign of the Superman on eBay for cheaper than an auction house. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know that you could still get deals on eBay. What do you think, Caesar? Because you still bought quite a bit of art from them. So.
You can still get deals. You just got to look for them.
Yeah.
It's the process of looking for them. I mean,
make offer.
I read a comment the other day that said somebody didn't know how to find Hake's original art section. I go, it's not that hard. You know, I mean, you want it served right in front of you. I mean, you got to look for stuff sometimes.
But do you mean Hake's account on eBay you're talking about?
No. Somebody mentioned that they didn't even know. They didn't know how to find the original art on Hake's site.
Oh, when you go to their site,
yeah.
How do you get to the original art section?
I mean, it's not difficult. I mean, it's not one click away, but it's there.
Yeah.
They just want it served right in front of them, you know.
Yeah.
Why auction houses get all the money? Because it puts all the art in one place, tells you when it's going to end, and you can bid on it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, listen, I get what you're saying, Caesar. Like, and I concur. You know, you got to do work, right? If you want to seek stuff out, you want to hunt things down, you got to do the work. I mean, I don't do much work anymore, but that's only because I'm not hunting and I don't want to hunt things down anymore. But back in the day, I hunted my ass off, you know? And so when I would tell people, oh, look at this piece I got, you know, I scored this on eBay, let's say. They're like, oh, shit, oh, my God, how'd you do that? Oh, that's not fair. I mean, what are you talking about? It's not fair. Do you know how many hours I searched eBay every single day back then, you know, back in the old days? I'm like, do you have any idea how many hours I waste on eBay? Like, it's actually so much time. It used to be so much time that it actually, you know, whatever deals I did get over the years, which wasn't that many, the actual amount of time I spent altogether over the years was worth way more money than the savings I got on those few pieces that I scored over the years. You know what I mean? So I looked at it that way. And then I eventually was like, what am I doing? Yeah, like, I don't like doing this. It takes too much time, whatever. I'm done with this, you know? And especially as the prints and the titty art kept sort of, you know, outnumbering everything else, you know? But, hey, Rich.
You know, and asking the questions on eBay is a big thing too. You know, when a seller puts something up for sale, especially if it's somebody who you know isn't a dealer and doesn't have 1,000 goddamn camera, who doesn't have 1,000 pages of art listed, ask them what else they have. You know, they're probably thinning their collection or, you know, generating some revenue, and maybe they've only got 1 or 2 page listed, but they were sitting on another 25 or 30. And they'd love to sell them off of eBay and save the fees and get one quick sale. I picked a lot of good stuff up that way by bundling off eBay.
Okay.
You know, you just got to ask.
Yeah. Mike, I just want to say, yeah, I mean, me too. I still have it. I still have it too. Just in case, exactly. But yeah, almost never does it come in for anything of interest anyways. So, yeah, that's that. Karen, I've been listening to the show while making pizzas. Very interesting conversation. The pizzas are coming out. So so I have to go. And that was probably like 10 minutes ago. Have a good night, Karen. Talk to you soon. I buy more. Look at that, Rich. I buy more toys off eBay these days than artwork. Wow. Okay. Tony, what's up? Tony was supposed to be one of our guests tonight. I hope your dad's doing well. Let me know how your dad's doing, man. Good to see you, by the way. Thank you for coming in. Great to see you. Just curious, do they broadcast the Thanksgiving parades in Canada? Yeah. The Macy's thing. Yeah. That they show that all the time. Retailers will make a full year profit on Black Friday. Wow, is that real? Is that a real state? Is that a factual statement? I find that hard to believe. I believe, you know, I've heard things like, oh, some retailers make 80% of their yearly revenue in the, let's say, 2-month Christmas season, but an entire, you know, no, that doesn't make any sense. Their entire year's revenue on one day doesn't make sense. Maybe a huge percentage of it, I guess, possible, right? Marcus, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me. Don't, by the way, don't. That's why it's called Black Friday. Why? Companies bottom line finally goes into the black. Ah, interesting. Okay, it used to be Cyber Monday for online, but that has moved. The reason it was Monday is so people could go to work and get faster. Internet? That's no longer a problem. Okay.
Yeah, probably internet.
Okay. And Black Friday, says Murdoch, been a thing since I was a kid. Okay, so yeah, well, like Scott said, apparently since, 1869 was it, Scott? Something like that. 100 years before the moon landing? Or did that happen? Just kidding. So Boxing Day, big in the UK, never been big in the US. Boxing Day's never been big in the US? What? Really?
What the hell is Boxing Day?
The Boxer Rebellion, is that what you're talking about?
In certain families, Caesar, after Thanksgiving,
big
instead of just continuing to argue with your family, you put the gloves on and you just get it over
Is that
with.
what that is? Okay.
That's Boxing Day.
Caesar, are you being serious?
It's Boxing Day.
Oh my God. Okay, maybe it's a Canadian thing. I don't know, but the rest of you kind of heard about it, right? You know what?
It's a UK thing. It came from England.
No, I ain't
Is that where it came from? Well, that makes sense because we're both part of the Commonwealth, so that would make sense. Okay. So nobody in the United States, no retailers have a big sale on the day after Christmas and call it Boxing Day?
No, they
They don't
call it
call it
after
Boxing
Christmas
Day.
sale.
No, that day is for returns.
Oh, yeah.
Day after Christmas is for returns.
Yeah. Well, here too, but that's why they go crazy here because it's a crazy sales day and everybody's trying to return stuff, you know? Wow. I can't believe all this awesome stuff I'm learning. Oh my God. And the fact that you had never even heard of it, Caesar. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Like I'm just like mind blown. Okay. It's pretty wild. Hart, what are you saying? It's almost Black November now. Black Friday. Got to keep it separated. I missed the in-person Black Friday fights and scrum videos. But ultimate page drawn by Brian Hitch on eBay recently. That's not bad. David, was it a good one? And did you get a good price? That's what we really want to know, though. To see if it's worth going on eBay still. Wish eBay was a little bit more militant about listings. Prints and comic books should not show up in original art listing. Yeah, but you can't. How can you police that? You can't. You know. Have a good evening, Comic Art Boston. Thank you for tuning in as long as you did. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Jason? Comic Art Channel. What is up? Messes. Okay. Good night, Jason. Ha 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 ha. I'm sorry for being late, Mikhail. It's an English thing. You're confirming it. Wow. I should have known that, I guess. Only reason I've ever heard of Boxing Day is because of friends in the UK. Wow. Oh, man. I guess I should have known. Boxing Day is big in Australia, too. Okay. There you go. So it's a non-American thing. That's why Black Friday is the big thing there for the sales. Okay. Thank you, Comic Art Boston. Thank you. That's a Boxing Day. Nice. And so what would each of the guys say is their top way to acquire art? So many places to look, but where do most purchase? Yeah. So let's do it in a circle. We'll start with, I guess, Miki, and we'll go like clockwise. Right now, let's say, how about this? Let me specify more vintagey art. So not something modern, right? If you're looking for like some vintage Legion or Silver Surfer art, whatever. For you, obviously, Miki. What is your current favorite way? Where would you prefer the art shows up if you had the choice?
I would say that I've had better success getting it from fellow collectors than getting it from any other place. Okay,
that's good. You've had better success at it, but does that, because it doesn't necessarily mean that that's your favorite way to, buy it, but
it's actually my preferred way now because I usually can negotiate a price better than going up in an auction and having to get outbid and losing the piece. So
yeah, I get that. Okay, what about you, Dan?
I usually go with actually dealers, and then I go with the auction houses for vintage stuff.
Interesting. So you're always pretty regularly sort of checking out all the vintage art dealers on the website?
Yeah. 100%. I'm scanning, I'll scan Albert, I'll scan Ramita Man, I'll scan Cool Lines. One of the bigger things I'll do is I'll actually
wait, Dan. Whoa, wait a second. We gotta it's getting hot in here. Wait, did you say I scan Cool Lines?
Yes.
We just want to make sure we heard each other. Okay. So what I want to know now, look what even Mike here is saying. Cool Lines. What I want to know. Okay, here we go. Another guy. Screech. Yeah, they get the record scratching sound. Cool Line. The question is, how often do you actually go and make a deal with Cool Line? And buy
Zero.
something?
Zero. I just want to know what's off the market.
Oh, okay. You don't find that the experience is too much frustration to make it worthwhile? Like, why bother? I mean, obviously not if you're doing it, but
Well, again, I'm looking at it from the perspective of 99% of the time, I'm probably not going to get anywhere with it. So I just want to know what's out there, so I know I don't have to go chasing that page down.
oh, okay.
If it's a particular page I want or a particular cover I want, then I know, they have it. Okay, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Take it out of circulation. Don't even look for it anymore. Focus on other stuff.
Okay. And you said dealers first, and did you say eBay second?
No. Heritage.
Oh, Heritage. Okay, the auction house.
Yeah.
Okay. And so not just auctions, Heritage specifically.
Heritage, and then I would say Comic Link and Hakes. Probably in that order. I've bought more off of Comic Link recently than I have Heritage, but the higher end stuff I'll go Heritage on.
Okay.
Just
Ceasar, how about you?
I kind of look at it like tiers. Like the Silver Age stuff, you're probably going to need to be on Heritage. Comic Link is going to have some of it. But if I'm looking for later Uncanny X-Men pages, or I'm looking for later Avenger pages, you might find those on Comic Link. The other thing that Comic Link is very, very good for are sketches that were done, let's say older sketches that were done at a convention that a particular artist did. You might see one of those creep in up there, like a John Byrne sketch, a Cockrum sketch. That's where I got my Ray Morrow sketches, was from Comic Link.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you. Ceasar?
So for me, it's either eBay or collectors. That's it.
Wow. Oh. It's like, I'm talking about your preference. So the one that you like the most, if I guess you feel is more enjoyable. You would say eBay,
Well,
even above collectors, or?
I guess collectors first and then eBay second, since
Okay.
I don't buy a lot of eBay anymore. I still search it.
Yeah.
I don't go to the homepage for Comic Art no more. I just have my word searches go through, and that's it.
Oh, I see. Because I thought when you kept saying you kept still finding stuff, I thought it was because you have to keep, I thought you were saying that you keep looking.
No, I don't go to the homepage anymore.
Oh, okay. You just rely on whatever they send you in the email, and that's it.
And then then you'll pick on one piece, and they'll try to send you similar ones. So I'll look at those, and whatever works.
Yeah, for sure. And Scott?
Auctions.
Oh, hold on.
I might buy a piece from Comic Link one every 3 auctions or something, but not too much.
Okay.
No, and dealers. Unless
do you look at dealers?
They don't update sites no more. No, I don't really look at dealers anymore.
Okay. Interesting, because I gotta say, and again, and this is more the reason for this is more because I'm not really, there's not much I look for anymore, but I never really look at dealer updates. Like, I kind of, most of the time, I would say probably 90% of the time, I get, I still, I'm on all their like mailing lists, but most of the time when I see it come in, I'm like, okay, delete. But it's, no offense to them, it's just more like, I'm not really looking for stuff anyways. Whatever. I just can't be bothered to go look through everything or whatever. And also, it's partly because when I do, on the occasion that I do open the email, let me check out. I haven't checked that out in a long time. Let me see what they have. Oftentimes, I'll be like, well, wait a second. I'm pretty sure the last time I checked his update, some of these pieces were part of that update, and that was like 8 updates ago or whatever. So it just feels like they update with pieces. I don't know, at a certain point, if they don't sell, hide them so that they're still, I guess, kind of fresh or whatever. And then down the road, I got to do another update. Put those old pieces back up and include them in the latest update so that the update feels more filled out. And does anybody else feel that? It just feels like that's happening. I don't know if that's happening, but it feels like that's what's kind of happening. Anybody else?
It happens with certain dealers, yes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jason,
It does.
do you have
happen.
any comment there? Because
I'm just listening.
I won't
and
name
observing.
names.
okay. Who said that? Who said they want to name?
I said I won't name names.
Oh, you won't name names. Okay. Yeah, anybody, those of you, the 42 of you still watching, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, that's the icon like this, that's right below the screen here, the video screen. Would you please do that? I'd appreciate it. I'm not asking you to subscribe to the channel. But if you just hit like, just the more likes we get, the more the YouTube algorithm might decide to push my video out to a few extra people. My videos are so long that they don't like pushing them out to anybody. So that's why my channel doesn't grow very much. So if you could hit the thumbs up, which is the equivalent to the like, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, let me add one last thing, Ruben.
Yeah, man.
My least favorite way to buy art.
Hold on, Mickey, because that was going to be the next question. So let's.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Gun. Sorry.
Yeah, perfect. No, that's good, man. That's good. I'm glad you're on top of that. That's coming up, so that's good. Scott, you were going to say something earlier, I think. Was there anything that I cut you off, or did somebody else cut you off? No, you're good? Okay. So Jason, first of all,
wait, what's Scott's favorite way of buying?
Oh, well, he said, yeah, Scott, but did you not answer? I thought you said
I did not.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scott. Yeah.
For vintage, it's definitely collectors first.
Nice.
And then probably eBay second.
Nice. So it's exactly like Caesar. Okay. Out of curiosity, and any of you who like to get up from other collectors can answer as well afterwards. But Scott, why would getting from other collectors? What is it about that for you makes it top of the preference list, so to speak?
Well, especially for vintage, it's usually pricing.
Okay.
Other collectors that aren't selling through auction houses tend to be more reasonable with their pricing. That's really the number one.
Let me follow that up with, and because my channel's always been about just saying it like it is, and we can always be honest, right? I don't like to bullshit people, so nobody should bullshit. So let me ask this: when it comes to buying, enjoying the act of buying from other collectors, would you guys say, those of you who like doing that, would you guys say that a big part of the reason, would you be willing to admit, I guess is what I should say, that a big part of the reason may be because some collectors, they, not all collectors are constantly on top of prices at all times. And by buying through collectors privately, that may be the actual reason you can often get what you feel is pretty fair or good prices. In other words, we're kind of taking advantage, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because everybody's responsible, for learning the values of the art, right, on their own. But would you guys say that part of it is the fact that we can take advantage of our better pricing knowledge over some other collectors who tend to not have the best pricing knowledge, and so that's why the price is so nice, and we like to buy from them. Who can admit that? Because I do that, right? Like I think everybody, to be honest, I don't know if everybody would admit it, but I think everybody does it, right? I don't believe there's anybody out there that would be like, oh shit, look at that, oh my god, is that right? Is that the right price? Oh shit, oh yeah, hey John, gosh, I can't believe you're doing this, but I would suggest you add another 0 to that price. You know what I mean? Like, I really think 99.9% of collectors would snag that thing in a heartbeat, whatever it is, right? and you don't say nothing because whatever, it's not my fault that you didn't do your research and you gave this thing away. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, who else is going to admit that? Of course, that's part of the fun of buying from other collectors. No, Mickey.
Not in my case. Most of the cases I'm buying from people I know.
Okay.
Sometimes they're friends, and we'll talk about, okay, what is this sold for before? What do you think you can get on an auction? What's a fair price? And we do a little bit of negotiating.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that makes a little that makes more sense, and that's a little bit different, obviously, right? Because I'm just speaking in general terms when if you're on CAF or whatever, and you see a stranger's gallery, right, and they have art for sale. I'm referring more to that, right? People that you don't know. Obviously, when you know them, you're gonna, you wouldn't likely take advantage of them, right? But Ceasar, you were gonna say something, so go.
So, what you described, I don't think happens that often anymore. I mean, it still happens once in a while,
right?
But people are usually overpricing their art now.
Right, that's true.
I saw this, I'm going to sell it at this price.
Yeah, too. That's true.
What you say happens once in a while, but I've only seen it a couple times in the last couple of years where, I said, oh, that's a good deal. That's way more than a good deal. I'll buy that.
Yeah,
but it's far and few in between.
I get that. But okay, let's not talk about those types of, ridiculous deals. But I'm even talking about, like, say something a little bit, it's not like, wow, what a fantastic deal, but it's like, I don't know, say 20% below what is probably the right price, right? So it's a nice discount, but it's not like, what a giant steal, but it's
right.
Wow,
I buy it, yeah.
Right.
I don't know, 20% below the price is probably good because Heritage will take 20%. So.
Yeah, but in the example that I'm citing, I'm talking about people who they don't realize that they maybe underpriced it by 20%. You know what I mean? So it's not like they know that, oh well, I would lose 20% at Heritage anyway, so I'll put it low so I can get a quick sale. No. I'm just talking about people who they don't really do the research. They just figure, they go, let's say they price it based on what they remember the last example selling for, which may have been 2 or 3 years ago, let's say, and they don't bother to sort of look for more recent examples kind of thing. That's kind of how I'm saying it. But okay, cool. Jason.
I would say I've bought the most from dealers, and I do look at dealers' sites just for artists that I like, just to see what might be new.
Okay, and let me just quickly ask you to specify when you say dealers, because I always I've always seen them as a separate entity. Like there's dealers. When I say dealers, yes, we can refer to everybody as dealers. But are you saying dealers of vintage, or are you wrapping up dealers? What do you call it? Art representatives in the whole umbrella of dealers.
Yeah, I guess I'm including reps in it as well. If it's like for an artist that I think I like, or I'll go see if they have any new pieces from that artist. But then I might look at other dealers like Will's Comic Art page or Albert or somebody who's dropping other pieces of art as well, not just their reps or but a broader stuff. So yeah, just I guess established comic art sellers for one form or another. I guess and I like something like Comic Art Fan or Comic Art Live, where it is collectors selling to collectors. I do like that format. I guess I have a question. What do you guys do if you find a page you really, really like? It's not for sale on someone's gallery. Do you just ignore it? Do you try? If you try to see if they're open to selling it, what's your approach?
That's an interesting question. I'm glad you picked it up. Should we tackle that, guys, first, or should we do what's your least favorite way to buy art first?
Let's do least favorite and then come back to the question.
Okay. So we'll circle. Let's do least, and then you'll take us back onto that. Okay, Jason.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. So yeah, let's do the clockwise again, Mickey. We'll start off with you.
In fact,
Hey.
this just showed up in the chat, and somebody talking about an art drop. I refuse to participate in art drops anymore. I just like, nope, not me. I'm out.
You? Is that what you're saying? You
Yes, I
refuse
do not participate in any art drops.
Oh, okay.
I'm out.
Hold on. Just so I understand.
Yeah.
Are you saying you mean art drop for like an artist or like a vintage dealer website update?
No, I'm talking about a rep or an artist saying I'm going to drop this art at this time,
Right.
and you have 15 or 20 people sitting there, the computer's ready to get a page. I'm out of that race. It's like, no, you guys can have it. I'm not getting into that. You know.
Yeah.
Who's got the faster internet and who can grab the piece for us? No.
Yeah.
You guys can rummage through that and have that shark and chum, with chum in the waters and all that stuff. Yeah, not me. I'm out.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Mickey. The whole jumping through hoops on fire. No, I'm just at that point, right, where collecting's not that important to me anymore. Like to have to do that kind of shit, right? It's like no thanks. I'd rather lose the art, How about the rest of you? Do any of you guys participate in those types of art drops? Like, oh, we're dropping the art right now.
Never have.
Never.
Wow.
I have.
Ceasar. Wow. Ceasar, is that because you hate the way it works, or is it just because there's never really been like artists with brand new shit that you really want to get? Okay.
One.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. Scott, what about you?
I don't want to add to the artificial hype that they create. I mean, it's
okay. I get
if
you.
everybody else enjoys it, fine with them. But
okay. And then
I'll sit back and watch the train wreck.
So are we still on least favorite way to acquire art?
Yep.
Yeah.
The dreaded trade proposals.
You mean when somebody approaches you though?
Yeah. Oh, I've gotten that, and then I won't try to trade, but I've gotten the people who are like, I really like that one, and I'm willing to give you this, and it's what they're willing to give up is not even a third of what you think it's worth. So then it just completely falls flat. Then you tell them you're not interested in that, but you'd be interested if they were willing to trade X, Y, Z, A, and B, and then suddenly you're a bad guy, and where did you come up with that? You're just ridiculous. I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm not your friend. Blah blah blah. I just won't entertain it anymore.
Well, because mine's always worth more than yours. I mean, it's just a given.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why it's my least favorite way to acquire it. And it's funny because there was a time where in the hobby we weren't talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. We might have been talking about $150, $200. It was more like trading baseball cards sometimes than it is now, where you're actually trading real, fine pieces of art and a whole different asset class. Artwork is an asset class. So it's kind of taken away from the hobby in that regard. Although I could see, the sketch cards. If people want to trade the sketch cards, like the Hembeck sketch cards or some of the other artists that have the sketch cards, I could see that as a potential area. But I just, I get these offers where, I'll trade you this for that, and I'm just like, I respond back. You try to be nice, you respond back, and then they're like, "Oh, you're just a bad person. I don't like you. You don't you're valuing that way too high." And it's like, okay, just stop. All right, thanks.
It's funny. Bootlegging is a habit. Says, so I'm less reasonable when pricing my art. Right? He's just a collector, right? Because I see buyers who buy from me try to flip them at significant premiums at the next CAF Live. But I just got to say this, though, Dan. Here's the thing, and I've been saying this for decades. Okay, from a business standpoint, you got to listen. You're going to do what you're going to do, okay? But this is how I would hope you would actually see it. You should kind of consider looking at it this way. Remember at all times that you're selling the piece of art. What you want to do is you want to be happy with, with the price you're going to get for it, right? But always remember, as soon as it's out of your hands, it doesn't matter what happens to it, right? Like, it's none of your business. I don't mean that to be rude, but it's really none of your business. You don't own it anymore. So if somebody wants to buy that $500 piece from you and ask $1,500 for it, again, you're going to spend a lot of frustrating time in the hobby if you're constantly seeing that stuff and looking for that stuff, and allowing it to sort of eat away at you. It's just not fun. I'm telling you, it takes the fun away. Yeah, it's annoying. Is it annoying? Yeah, sure, whatever. It's annoying. But ultimately, you can't do anything about it. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's out of your hands. You don't own it. Who cares? So price it accordingly. But again, you're saying you price it, you're less reasonable. Hey, listen, if the less reasonable prices are attainable, if you still manage to sell stuff, then keep doing it, right? Obviously, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing something right. But if you find yourself pricing them higher because of the reason that you're mentioning, and most of the time the stuff doesn't sell, think about what you're doing. You're clearly you want the money, because that's why you're trying to sell it. But look what you're ultimately doing. You're getting stuck with stuff you would rather sell simply because you can't get over the psychological factor of, yeah, but that guy who bought something from me last time is asking so much more. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter what he's asking. If he gets it, then you undersold it. It still provides valuable data for you. But if he's still holding on to it, who cares what he's asking? It means nothing, right? So that's all I would sort of suggest you kind of think about, because then it all contributes to the hobby inflation, by thinking, oh, well, I'm going to price it aggressively just because every time I do sell something, they ask for more, the next time. Like I said, it's out of your hands. It shouldn't matter by that point. So anyways, I just wanted to make that point, if you will. Sorry. So, whose turn? Who's going to go next with least favorite? Caesar, was it you?
Wasn't it Dan?
Remind me of what Caesar, what's your least favorite?
Heritage, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so, because you don't really do much.
I don't do anything on Heritage.
Yeah. And we can say that the main reason is because you find everything goes too high.
Everything goes too high. I'm not.
You can't afford.
I'm not willing to compete that much for the art that's there.
Yeah. Okay. But before we move on to Scott, what if I sort of structured the question more to like, if we just, because they're not the only auction house in town, right? So you have other choices of auctions. So if we just say, what's your least favorite method of a place to acquire art? Because you may not like Heritage, but you may love one of the other auction houses, and we don't know that. You know what I mean? So
if you're taking it overall, it would
overall,
I guess dealer, since I really don't buy anything from dealer sites anymore.
Really, that's interesting. But
but I will buy from dealers in person.
Interesting.
If I see them at a show. Well, San Diego is the only show I go to. So
but I was going to say that makes sense, because you go to San Diego, so they're going to be there anyways. Of course, you're going to look.
That's the only. I won't like Albert. I don't buy online from Albert. I got to see it in person. I got to be able to haggle with Albert and everybody else. And I cannot. Right. I've never figured out how to haggle online. I can't do it. I can do it in person much better. I can't do it online. Suck at it.
I suck at it. Yeah, at least you admit it. That's cool. I just want to say, before we ask Scott his least favorite way of getting art, that Marcus, you said for the favorite way, you said friends, and you mentioned because no fees. I just want to make the one little point, just because you're technically correct, but you're not 100% correct. I want to say that nowadays, even your friends are telling you, okay, yeah, this is okay. You come to an agreement on the
Friends
price.
and family, baby. Friends. and
Exactly.
family.
Thank you, Caesar. But yeah, friends and family. Which, if you're funding your PayPal like I've always done with credit card, it means you're still gonna pay the whatever 4% or whatever it is. So there is these days still some fees involved. Just want to make that a point. And to be honest, okay, it may be nice to know that. Okay, you might think of it as 4% better than 20% or whatever auction house. But I gotta say, it really irks me. This whole trend of almost every collector now does that. It's like, oh yeah, please include the.
It's not just collectors who ask for it. Dealers
Oh, no,
ask
no.
for it too.
Oh no, I know. Well, it was the dealers who I saw first start that trend, and that pissed me off. But then when I started seeing everybody on Cap doing the same thing, it's like, seriously, really, you really can't swallow 4% of the entire price? Like, it's gonna kill you? Come on, man.
I mean, it's the fucking cost of doing business. I mean, build it into your price. I mean, it's not that hard.
That's why I've not joined. I've not joined that army of people doing that. Although I gotta say, for the last few years, I keep telling myself, like, maybe I'm the stupid one. Maybe I should. Hell with it. Everybody
I've been
does
writing
it.
a lot of checks this past year.
Was that?
I've been writing a lot of checks this past year.
Have you? Yeah. So yeah, whatever.
More than I can remember.
Okay.
I actually forgot how to write a check out when I started writing them out again.
Because it was that long.
It had been that long. Nobody wanted checks. Now all of a sudden, checks are back.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Very much true. Because of that whole trend of I don't want to pay my own selling fees on the credit card processor or whatever. Right? It's like yeah. It's money orders and checks. It's like, wow, we're going back to the 90s again.
Back.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Scott, go ahead and why don't you let us know what your least favorite way of acquiring art is?
Auction houses in general.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I would put Heritage at the top of the list.
Okay.
But yeah, if I just had to pick a method of acquisition, auction houses.
Interesting. Wow. I find that interesting because I gotta say there's a certain fun factor in the bidding process that I've always found. So when I hear people say, "Oh, I hate the auctions," I'm genuinely kind of surprised. I'm like, really? You don't like anything about the auction process? I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. There's a certain excitement and fun about it. Am I the only one? Oh my god.
It's painful. It's painful.
But isn't it fun, Miki? No,
I happen to like it a lot. I happen to like the idea of it's what the market bears, and that there are people out there that are as interested in it as you are. So
I remember the days of no buyer's premium. So,
well, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, there was that day, but
if it was no buyer's premium now, then it might be a different story.
Yeah, but see, that buyer's premium, and I was going to point this out earlier, one of the reasons I don't worry about Heritage as much is the buyer's premium. I think the buyer's premium really kills a lot of the shilling, because if you shill and you've got a 20% buyer's premium, you're going to lose 20% of your money if you wind up winning that back, right? So you really don't want to take a 20% hit. So that to me makes sense. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're in there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I do miss the day when we didn't have those buyer premiums. I miss the day when you could go to the cons and you'd go up to the artist, and the artist had his art book, and you'd go through the art book, and you would see things in there that you didn't see in Marvel Fanfare, or you didn't see in any of the published books, and you were like, wow, I really want that. It was like you were finding buried treasure out of an old paperback novel, right? Yeah. But you're just not finding that anymore with the reps.
No.
So you can, but it's harder.
Yeah.
You really got to work at it.
Everything's harder now. Well, look at Tony. This is what's so fascinating about the hobby, right? The more people you talk to, you get these diverse sort of views on the same topic, right? Look, he's like the opposite of what Mickey's view on it, right? It's like, oh, I like Felix art drops. I've been lucky to get a few pieces. It's like, okay, wow. So there's somebody who enjoys it. And I guess for me, see, I don't like the art drop thing myself, but I do like the excitement and action of the auction process. There's a little bit of fun that comes with it. So yeah, I kind of like that. And I guess for Tony, it's a similar type of thing. There's probably the excitement of, am I going to get it? But whereas Mickey, you're like, hell no, I'm not going to go through that much trouble, right? Like, yeah, I totally get that. So David says, he bought a Batman Bermejo piece from a fellow CAP member, paid what he wanted without wheeling and dealing, because I don't see many Bermejo pieces out there. Well, that makes sense though, David, right? That totally makes sense. When it's stuff that you don't see often, you're better off just, grabbing it as long as it's, you think it's a reasonable price. Absolutely. If it's stuff you can see here, there, and everywhere, that's when you should, not jump on it and just maybe, try to make a little bit of an offer with a small discount kind of thing, Dwayne, I would approach it as, I love the piece you have and see it as not for sale, so I would just offer. Oh, now this is when if you change your mind, I would be interested. Oh yeah, do you ask people on CAP? Because I think that's what the question that you, Jason, were bringing up, right? Okay, so we're going to get to that, but before we do, you give us your least favorite way that you've so far experienced in grabbing.
I think, like other folks have said, I think it's auctions for me too. I mean, I look at them, I like them, and there will be some pieces that I throw bids in on them, but I'm always like outbid by $8, $10. It's just enough to piss it off. You're like, damn it, why didn't I just make my bid a little bit higher? And then the buyer's premium, on Comic Connect, if it doesn't say 15% will be added to this, I'll look at it. What is that piece? As soon as I see the 15% will be added to this piece, moving on, next one, kind of a thing. So same kind of thing. Okay.
What is up, Knights of Old? Never will like art drops like that. Too much hype. There we go. Yeah, there's pros and cons from everybody on all these ways of getting art, For every method that you'll find one person saying, I love it, you're going to find at least one person saying, I hate it, So that's what's really, I find fascinating. Sorry, that's the wrong one. You get 0% of the pieces you don't ask for. There's the comic collector Wayne Gretzky himself who said that, I think. I sometimes look for leftover tails and heads after the frenzy. But no, but that's something kind of like for Mickey, right? Mickey could kind of consider that if he wanted to. Okay, it's over now. Let's see if there's anything left over that that I can pick off the bone kind of thing, and at least you don't have to get involved in the frenzy or whatever, So
well, I'll name the fact that I've actually gone to the website to do that. Unfortunately, I know with the one dealer website that I went to look at, it's hard to filter the sold pieces from the unsold pieces. Okay. So you got to go and look through every single piece to see if it's sold.
That's one thing I wish a lot of web pages would do a better job of, is give you a quick way to filter out all the sold stuff, because they have stuff that they sold years ago still listed sometimes, and you're like, get rid of that. I don't want to see that.
Interesting. Okay. Carl says, I've scored on art drops, but I hate it. The buy now or miss out type hype, right? Yeah, that's basically kind of what it is. Though I can take that a step further and also say you'd probably be saying the same thing about claim sales, Although I think the hype, at least in our hobby, I think it's kind of like the whole dueling dealers hype, from that first year. That's down now. I think people are a lot, they're not as quick to claim now. They think about it longer, which is fine. But that's not why I do it. I do it from time to time because for the last several years, I realized that dropping art on the website was just kind of not going anywhere. It looked like more and more the hobby was shifting towards buying mostly from auctions, bidding at auction, and there was so much stuff coming out at auction that I could notice the trend of people being like, well, I like that piece on this website, but you know what? This Wednesday there's another auction. Let me see if I can get that piece first, and then if I don't, maybe I'll go back to that dealer site, you know. And of course they end up forgetting, and you know, so sales were getting crappier and crappier. And I thought, okay, let me try it and see how it goes, you know. And again, I don't do them often, but the reason I still do them from time to time, it's not because I actually think, oh, I'm gonna get people like with that feeling of the need to have now. No, because I don't. The stuff that I usually sell, it's not like super high demand stuff, anyways, right? What I love about it is simply that I get to you get to show each piece in an art drop one at a time, so everything gets its share, you know, its fair share of time, fair time to be seen. And I just like the fact that it's live, so you get a sense of, hey, who's there, who's watching, who's interested. Whereas on my website, I have data to tell me how many people visited, but I don't know who was there and how serious they were, how interested they were. But, you know, on a YouTube claim sale, I just find it nice that you get the people chatting and telling you know, making comments about the art, whether they liked it or not or whatever. I don't know. So I still like claim sales. So let me ask you guys, what do you guys claims, YouTube style claims? Anybody can take the question.
I like claim sales. They're fine. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Do
like
you? Yeah, but Caesar, do you feel? Would you describe them as something where like, yeah, but like, I feel the pressure to have to claim it quickly. Do you feel that, or are you like okay?
No, that has faded.
Okay. Yeah.
That has faded. Lately, it's just watching the show, and if you like something, make an offer on it.
Make an offer or something. Yeah.
Make an offer. That's it.
Yeah, I think I felt the pressure initially. Like when I first started watching them, I'm like, oh, this is going fast. Maybe I better, you know, and then you kind of jump the gun on some pieces that you liked it, but maybe you could have waited and seen if it really was the piece you wanted to have. So now I've learned patience, you know, and if it goes, oh, well, it wasn't meant to be, you know.
That's yeah.
I feel the same way. If you don't buy it, then you just move on to the next one. That's it.
Yeah.
Also because I'd be watching and my wife would look over at me and she would hear, you know, oh, Jason claimed that. You should hear my name mentioned on the thing or whatever. And I'm like, oh, shit, she knows. So it was harder to hide what I was doing.
Got you. Bootlegging says you got a request for a potential trade. So I get this, right? Because this is basically what my experience with trades have been most of the time. The guy contacts you and says, hey, yeah, I really like this piece. Take a look at my gallery and let me know if there's anything in there that you would trade for. It's like, so you want something that I have, but you want me to go to your entire gallery and spend a bunch of time searching for something so that maybe I could find something to do you the favor of getting the piece you like off of me. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you want me to do all the work? Like, yeah, that's unfortunately that most of the sort of propositions I've gotten for trade. So I get you, bootlegging. Yeah, not fun. Trades, Rich says, trades are very difficult to match up. It's true. I used to do more trade. I've never done a ton of trading, but 20 years ago, I did more trading. Rarely do trades in the last 20 years, really 15 years. So no one has time for that trade noise. NFTs. Ruben, I agree with you. With what I was telling you earlier, right? But for that reason, I don't need to actually sell. So I go ahead and seek to maximize if I'm going to sell. Okay, well, I didn't want to bring that up and then complicate the whole point I was making. But yes, that would be the exception where if you don't need to sell it, if you're not selling it because you need the money, then absolutely, why not be a little more aggressive? Sure, absolutely. I don't have a problem with that. You know, of course, I'd like the stuff to be cheaper, but it is what it is, right? So I totally get that. In the last 6 months, Heritage seems much less competitive. What do you mean by less competitive? Not fun. Anxious the night before a big auction. Interesting. Okay. I don't know what you mean by less competitive. Less people bidding, you mean? Because I don't notice that. Not on Heritage, anyways. Hey, what's up, Michael? I enjoy the auction process, and there are good deals to be found from time to time. Michael, would you, if you're still here, would you say that specifically about Heritage? Because all the guys here in the studio, you know, we've all made the point, it seems, that we don't believe there's good deals to be found on that auction platform. But I have said many times over the years, tons of deals to be found on Comic Link. So that's how I feel. So if you're still here, let me know. Scott, I don't think that there's much, if any, shield bidding in the modern world. Very easy to detect with IP digital. I don't know. I don't think it's a prevalent, thing or whatever. Myself, you can now mark it up on your website and justify the price with an auction data point. But again, if it doesn't sell, does it matter what you want to ask for it? Don't do drops. Tried a few times, and everything I wanted was sold in 5 seconds. Just so annoying. And that's part of the reason. That's exactly part of the reason. Okay. You left about 10 minutes ago. Good night, hon. Let's see. John, I always enjoyed acquiring art in high stakes. I should have known that, John. I should always read before I post John's stuff. So Chuck, yeah, I don't mind buying from Heritage if it's a reasonable price, but if something goes high on Heritage, all of a sudden everyone thinks every page they have is what. That's true. That's true. Oh, but it's not just Heritage though, Chuck. Wouldn't you guys agree that, and this has been going on for many, many years, not just post-COVID, it was like as the market continued to rise, if you saw on a dealer website some kind of vintage type piece sell for like a really high price where everybody was like talking about it and you're like, what? Wow, I can't believe that sold. Same thing would happen. Everybody and his grandmother would pull out their pieces and jack up their prices to similar levels, right? So it's not, we can't blame Heritage for that. Everybody, that happens anytime any confirmed sale, seems to happen anywhere in the hobby. Everybody wants the same kind of money for it, right? So dinner time. Have a good dinner. Well, you're already gone now 10 minutes ago. Mikhail, thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. Looks like Hoarders Hide will be buying a fan on Black Friday. Nice. Let's see. Let's be clear. Your shows are not the same as an overhyped, upcoming drop we see happening all the time. You're saying that in response to your shows are not the same as an overhyped upcoming. You mean my sales shows that I was talking about? I guess.
Yeah, I think he was when you were talking about doing live shows.
Oh, like YouTube claim shows or whatever. Okay. Oh, I appreciate that. But no, it's different. Exactly. It may look similar on the surface, but there are differences for sure. Claim sales are fine, but slightly annoying when it comes down to internet speed. Right. Especially when you see people claiming piece after piece just to turn around and sell for more. People claim piece after piece and then turn around and sell for more. I don't know. Does you guys see that happen? I mean, the thing is I don't really care anymore. About when I see people, they grab a deal somewhere, I don't then go looking for them to see, let me see if he's going to flip that on his website or on his cap gallery or whatever. I just don't care. It's like, whatever, you got it instead of me. Oh, well, sucks to be me. But I just don't care what happens after the fact. What's the point of getting frustrated? That's just kind of how I look at it, the hobby's supposed to be fun, and worrying about what other people are doing with the art you used to own or what they're selling for, that kind of thing, it just annoys, it's aggravating, and it just brings aggravation. It doesn't bring fun. It takes away from the fun of being in the hobby, right? So that's just how I see it anyways, Mike,
you want to get back to Jason's question?
Oh, you want to get to Jason's question? Sorry,
yeah, only ask back.
Yeah. Let's go to that. Yeah, for people who may have maybe come in and out, Jason, why don't you rephrase it and ask it again once more?
Yeah, so if you're on Comic Art Fans and you're looking at pieces and there's a piece you really like, but it's not for sale, and especially if it's in a gallery that doesn't have anything for sale. You know, some people's galleries, they'll always have some gallery where they've got something for sale. So, you know, they're a little bit more open to the idea of doing that, but other people don't have anything listed for sale. So if you find that piece that you'd like or a piece you're interested in, how do you approach them to see if they might be open to the idea of selling?
Okay.
Do you have a
And
strategy
before, yeah, I'm gonna leave it to you guys to answer that. But just before we answer it, just because I don't want it to go another 10 minutes before I fall, in case I fall behind. So Michael says, in terms of the whole thing, that he loves heritage. So he's gotten some decent buys on the Wednesday auctions recently, but he's typically happy if he tracks 20 and only wins one. So it does go to show what I think all of us have been saying, that it's tough for a lot of people to win stuff on heritage, right? Because it does go for more than most people want to pay. So thanks, Michael. I appreciate it. So yeah, fellas, anybody want to take that? I want to hear from all of you, honestly, but who wants to go first? Anybody?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I typically don't sell art. However, if somebody comes and say, make me an offer, and I'll consider it, and I'll keep you in mind if I decide to sell it. And typically, if you're going to make an offer, it better be a very good offer.
Hold on.
Better not be below market.
Mickey, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't hear correctly. Were you saying, are you giving an example of when people approach you or when you approach people?
Same. If I'm approaching someone or somebody approaches me,
okay.
If somebody approaches me, I'll tell them, make an offer.
I'll make an offer.
And I'll consider it.
Right.
And then if they make an offer, I decide, well, no, I'm not going to take your offer, but I'll keep you in mind if I ever decide to sell it.
Oh, you tend to say that to people?
Yeah.
And do you? That's interesting. Do you? It's not the first time I've heard that, of course, but do you actually make it a point to take note of their name or whatever, and in case you ever?
If somebody makes an offer through CAF, it's there your CAF. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's there in your mailbox. You can always go back to it.
Okay.
And I have actually this year. I actually went back to someone who had offered me and said, "Hey, I'm not willing to sell this piece for what you offered it. If you're still interested."
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and he took a while and he came back and bought it.
Mickey, would you prefer an email of, are you even open to selling it with no offer made, or would you prefer the email be, would you take blank for this piece if you're willing to sell it?
Either one is fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, that's, I typically don't go to other people's website and make offers on their pieces. But if somebody's approaching me, that's what I would ask them to do: is make me an offer, and I'll consider it. There's some pieces I'll say, no, this one will be available after I'm no longer in this art.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Any other any of you fellas have anything to say to that about the topic of when people approach you and ask you if something's, or when you see how, because Jason, I think your primary interest was in knowing that if you as a collector see, as you're browsing other people's galleries, and you see something that it catches your eye, so you're interested in you wishing you could own it, right?
Right.
But it's not for sale. You're wondering, your primary thing is you're curious, how do people handle that, right? What do you do? Do you reach out? Do you not reach out? If you reach out, how do you make the approach? Is that what you're basically asking?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly, like Mickey said, I don't want to undercut somebody, but I don't want to be ridiculous either. So do you just feel the waters out first? Hey, are you even open to the idea? And will they, like Mickey said, this piece is going to my grave, so don't even bother me with an offer. We're done. And then you move on. Or is it, well, entice me and let me throw out a number and see if that even gets you to think about it. And I'm just curious what people's approach may have been and what their success rate has been.
So I can jump in here and I give you an actual example. I completely agree with Mickey. I get offers an awful lot, and I'll tell you the artist in my collection, Paul Smith. The Paul Smith X-Men pages, I get a lot of offers for. Usually the offers start out with, I'm offering you X for those pages. And the response will come back, well, the pages are on Heritage, the pages that are going up on Heritage are going for Y. You're offering me X. Please wait till they come out on. A lot of times I'll answer it. Please wait till they come out on Heritage. When you see them on Heritage, you can bid on them there. And I'll leave it at that. There are some people that have been great. The pages aren't for sale, and I've told my family I have a list of 2 or 3 people that if I leave this earth, they can contact and reach out to these 3 individuals because they made fairly decent offers and see if they want to do a deal with them. But for right now, I'm just not interested in selling those pages. But that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Hope that helps.
Yeah.
All right, to answer
And-
Jason's question,
Yeah.
if I see something I like, I don't make an offer on it. I just don't.
You just okay.
I just I accept
I
that
mean-
it's not for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Caesar,
it.
I think Caesar, for you, tell me if I'm wrong, obviously. I feel that for you, that's simply part and parcel of your character, of like kind of what you mentioned earlier, just for the same reason that when it comes to buying art online, you never bother to even try to ask for a deal from somebody, right? You said
No, I
earlier.
ask for deals, but I'm not good at it.
Oh, you're just not. Oh, you asked,
just
but
not
you're not
good
good
at
at it. Okay, you're not successful, is what you're saying.
I'm much better in person when asking for a discount.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
but I usually don't.
I think it's a smile.
I usually
Smile.
don't.
Caesar, I mean, come on, Caesar in person.
If something's not for sale, I usually don't make an offer or ask if it's for sale. I will ask, as Jason said, are you willing to sell this? And then maybe I'll make an offer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But usually I respect the guy listing as not for sale, and that's it. Now, I've gotten offers for not for sale, and I'll usually simply say, I'm not willing to sell it at this time. Thank you for your
Okay.
offer. Thanks for looking at my gallery.
Yes.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
Interesting.
I
Look
mean, I
at
had-
Jeff.
I got an offer just on Saturday on one of my pieces, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm not ready to sell this yet. Thanks for looking.
Yeah.
He said, oh, I didn't
mean,
want to bother you, but I was like, it's no
Mhm.
problem. It's not a bother.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, if it's no, you're not looking to sell it, you have no interest in selling it, just be polite like they are, as long as they are, and yeah, no problem with that. That's the best way to handle that, right? Joseph Damon, good to see you. A lot of people who have not been either here ever or in a long time. So nice to see you. So Joseph says, I politely reach out to clients annually, letting them know that I'm still interested if they ever want to sell said piece. And that's an interesting way to do it too. I say that simply because I have known other people who have also told me the exact same thing, that if they're told, they reach out. If they're politely told no, they will still check in maybe once a year just to kind of keep that little bug in that person's ear in case they ever do decide they're going to sell. They're hoping that, hey, they may remember me because I kept doing that annual reach out or whatever,
Dear Ruben, how's your health?
Exactly. But the funny thing is that it sometimes works. I've had people tell me that, yeah, I had people tell me like, oh, I kept doing that year after year after year for like 7-8 years. And one day the guy, he actually contacted me and he said, hey, I'm ready to sell this. There you go. And he ended up with it. So it pays off, I guess, I can see how some sellers or sellers, but the people being asked to sell, I could see how some of them could be sort of seeing it as kind of annoying, maybe to say, oh, not this guy again. Every friggin' year, this guy trying to bother me about the same piece, But ultimately, as long as it's polite, I think there's nothing wrong with that, So yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, for me, if I find something, it's funny. Like I've done it all. I have seen something that I wanted. It's clearly not listed for sale, and I've just said, okay, I respect that. Oh, well, I wish I could have it, but I'm not going to ever own it. Right? I just accept it. For other things, and I guess it all comes down to how bad, like you guys were saying earlier, how badly do you really want a piece? And I guess when you really, really like it, those are the moments when I'm like, okay, clearly it's not listed as being for sale, but I really want this. I don't want to risk that. Who knows? Maybe he would sell it, right? And if somebody else could come along and ask him, they may do it, and then it's gone. And so I have reached out and said, well, here's the thing. If it's not for sale, if there's no indication that it's for sale, my own personal way of always handling it, though, is one contact, and my contact always includes the price. So I decide what the highest, I try to think about what's the highest I'm truly willing to pay for this thing that I'll feel comfortable with. And yeah, and then I reach out and say, hey, listen, don't want to offend you or anything, but if you'd be willing to part with this, I'd be willing to pay you this much for it. And I just feel like that's the best way for me, because I don't want to risk that if I take that more laid back approach of, excuse me, I'm just curious, would you ever consider parting with this? Right? Oftentimes you're just going to get, oh, no, it's not for sale. Right? So now your chances are completely gone. Whereas my view of it, my theory is by politely saying, would you ever part with this? Because if you are, I would pay you this much. Let me know. You never know. The person might have been the type of person who, had no interest in selling it. But then when they saw the price, oh, shit, this piece is worth that much? Oh, right? And then maybe you get the piece. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you include the offer right off the bat, I feel that should increase your chances as a buyer. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think you're right on that. That shows especially if you're putting out an honest offer and not a lowball offer. Mm-hmm.
Which I do. Yeah, which I do. I don't do the whole, let me try to see if I can fool this guy. And he may be, right, I've never seen this guy before. He might not know his values. Let me try to lowball him. I don't do that shit. It's just, if I want it, I'll give you what I think is the fair price or more, whatever. But yeah.
I use the offer.
I've evolved.
You've evolved?
Yeah, I've evolved on this subject over the years. Oh. My stock answer used to be "fuck off" when somebody would ask me.
Really?
Yeah, because everything is not for sale. That's still how most things on my CAF are listed. But now the answer is.
But are you being facetious, or would you actually say "fuck off"?
No, I would actually say "fuck off." It says not for sale, so why are you asking?
Okay.
And now, even though everything still says not for sale, I've evolved to, okay, everything's got a price, and I just leave it at that. And that usually, still some people will come back with a low ball on that, but usually people know I really don't want to sell unless they throw out a really good offer, which is probably why I've never sold anything.
Right.
Yeah, I think if you're going after someone's piece that they're saying is not for sale, obviously, if you're serious about it, you really are going to have to give them top dollar, and that's why I think if you're going to do that, you really have to want that piece. Otherwise, like Ceasar said, just accept the fact that page is off the market. But if it's the page you've been looking for, then yeah, I would think you'd have to give them top market offer if you're going to try to get it out of their hands. And then
on the other side, if it's a piece I'm looking at and they say not for sale, that's my assumption. It's not for sale. I just leave it alone. Now if they don't specify not for sale, if it's an unknown, then of course you like you said, Ruben, you express your interest and say, I feel it's worth this and would be willing to pay that for it. And hopefully it goes from there.
You're agreeing, Miki. I can see you nodding constantly.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with everything you said. Is that it's better to make an offer right off the bat and be very polite about it, and said if it's not for sale, I understand, but if you ever want to part with it, this is what I'd be willing to pay. And I think that's the best approach. The person could say, "No, I'm not. It's still not for sale."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Or they could say, "Well, I'll consider it."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And the nice thing for me, what I find about it, it works both ways. Whether I get the piece or whether I don't, I think it's nice because if the person says no to me, the nice thing about it is that because I'm making what I believe is a very fair offer, okay, or better, it allows me to also psychologically be able to walk away from the piece, especially if it's one of those pieces where, I've been eyeing this piece like in this guy's gallery for like the last couple of years, let's say, right? And it never occurred to me to reach out to him to see if he'd want to sell it. But when I finally do decide, hey, you know what? Let me just try him. You never know. If the guy says no, it just feels good knowing that, well, I made my best offer already, right? So I can walk away and I don't have to think about that piece ever again. You know what I mean? That's why I find it's a nice strategy for me. Anyways, does anybody understand what Marcus is saying? Can I ask to speak to the wife asking for Dinesh?
On one of the Comic Art fans shows, Dinesh was talking about how once he was out to dinner with somebody who had a page that he really liked, and the guy got up and went to the bathroom, and he was talking with the wife and said, I would offer this for that page. And so after that dinner, the wife made it very clear to the person that, hey, you're selling that page. So the joke is, if you're really trying to get a page, tell the wife what it's worth. Oh. And then that will prompt discussions that will result in the article being sold.
Oh, if you're interested in somebody's page, go and tell the owner's wife.
Yeah, like tell Vivian, hey, I'll pay you this much for Ruben's page.
Right.
And then Vivian would say, you're selling that page because we're buying a car. Yeah.
Okay, got you. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's dirty. That is
very dirty. Yeah, that's very dirty.
I would never do that. Ruben, I'll never do that.
No. Carl, just don't be pushy, obviously. I mean, it should go without saying. Or ask them for. Here's the thing, Carl, though. Here's the thing, my friend. The vast majority of people who contact me, and this is what I hate about trading and people making offers to buy from me, I just have the shittiest luck. Most of the people, Carl, that contact me, that want to buy something from me, they do ask me for the price. Most of the people, I kid you not, I would say at least 70% is of the variety that says, hi there, would you ever be willing to sell this piece? And if so, how much? What? It's like it's the equivalent of those people who reach out and say, hey, I really like this piece. I would love to trade for it. Can you check my gallery and spend 2 hours looking through the whole damn thing and tell me if you can find something you'd be willing to take in exchange, right? It's people that want you to do all the work, right? I'm telling you, I like what you have. Now, please, do a lot of work and try to figure out a way where you can satisfy me and let me have that piece from your collection. Like, it's just insane. But that's mostly what I get. So I don't know. The rest of you guys, what kind of people reach out to you? Like what's the most prevalent way that people want to, approach you to get something from you guys?
I'd say 80% of them are the
Caesar.
Hey,
hold on a second.
I had on mute.
Yeah, you were muted. Sorry. Hold the thought, Dan, and let Caesar just say what he's saying.
People approach mostly that way, and my response is, I'm not looking to sell it. That's all.
Are you saying they say, hey, you were looking to, hey, would you ever sell this? And they also include the how much?
How much? And now my response is, I'm not looking to sell it. That's all.
Okay, excellent. Dan, go ahead.
I'd say 80% of them are the open-ended. Hey, I saw you have this page up on CAF. I'd be interested in purchasing it. What would you want for it?
Oh, yeah,
those I just ignore. What I do is if somebody makes an offer with it, I use the offer to determine if the person I'm talking to knows what they're talking about and what level of a collector they are. Because if they've got the right amount in the offer, then I know they're serious. Then I know they're a serious collector, and I know they're invested in that property. But otherwise, chances are I'm just going to, I would say a good 90% of them just are, thank you very much. I appreciate the interest, but it's not for sale.
Gotcha.
There are a few people who make the list, though. There are a few people who make the list.
Okay. Well, Alberto says, I never get any offers. Now I feel disappointed. Trust me, dude. Trust me. It's so much better to not get offers than to get offers of the, yeah, would you ever sell that? And if so, how much variety? Trust me. There's nothing more frustrating and annoying to that than that. So, trust me,
I would say that. Yeah, I'm with Dan on that. If somebody wants, I've had the experience where somebody says, "Are you willing to sell this?" And I go, "Perhaps. How much would you pay for it?" And they've come back with a ridiculous number, and I went, "I'm wasting my time here."
Yeah,
I've got a question for Scott, real quick. Yeah. Scott, do you get offers for lots? Do you get people who come in and they say, I want to offer you X, but I want to offer it to you for, let's say, five or six different pieces at the same time?
Me, no, I don't get offers for that. It's usually just individual pages, but I am big on bundles. I do that. I make offers on lots.
Yeah, he's the guy who's always trying to bundle shit together.
Yeah,
to get...
I'm a bundler, just like I'm pickers. But yeah, like no, me personally, I don't have a lot of people. There's not a lot of Hex and Spectre fans out there, so I just get the occasional offer here and there on certain pieces, and it's always the same pieces. Nobody's knocking down my door for Valiant or Bunny Mask right now. So.
Yet, you never know. Knights of Old, interesting. I just wanted to say, so you say when you approach, if you ever end up selling this piece, please let me know. Thanks. Okay, I just want to say to you, Knights, polite and respectful, and I'm only one guy, so please understand, I'm just one guy with one opinion. But to me, because I do get some of those as well, to me, when I get that, I think Joker, delete. I think Joker. To me, you're too laid back. It seems like you're not serious. It seems like, I guess because of the way that I approach people, I just feel if you're serious, if you really cared about this piece, you would be a little bit more proactive than just saying, nonchalantly, if you ever sell this, let me know. Because I feel like if you say that, honestly, am I going to remember you? I mean, truthfully, am I going to remember you? Like, if you ever sell this, let me know. Like, what? And if I ever did sell it, why would I go to that one stranger who once 2 years ago told me, hey, let me know? Especially if it's something that I know there's demand for, let's say, for instance, for which it'll be easier and much more profitable, most likely, to either go through my cap gallery, put it for sale, or my website, put it for sale, a YouTube claim sale, or send it into auction, whatever. Like when it's something that's pretty popular that I know, I mean, unless it's something that's just there's no demand for, very little demand for, okay, that's different. But for most things, you're probably going to be better off when the time comes to just, put it up yourself, post it, or send it into an auction or whatever. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Am I being too harsh with the, if you ever end up selling this, please let me know, thanks crowd? Because I just,
what would you do? Take it seriously. What would you do, Ruben, if you were at Jeff Singh's meetup and there was a guy there that you had not met before? He was new to the meetup.
Right.
And he was looking through your folio and he said, hey, if you're ever interested in getting rid of this piece, would you contact me? Would your response be the same of, I don't have time for you, or would it be different?
Well, because it's in person, I would be,
not that you're going to be rude, but would you just say, yeah, thanks?
I'd be, oh yeah, sure, I'll let you know. But I don't really need
still say fuck off.
Scott, that's why I wanted you on the show tonight, Scott. But no, in all honesty, that's I don't mean it. I would tell the guy in person because like what if you're in person, what would you say to somebody who's beside you and says, "Oh God, I love this one." Yeah, they're looking through your folio. Oh, I really love this, man. Hey, would you ever, please, if you ever decide to part with it, please let me know. Like he's right next to you, telling you that to your face. What are you supposed to say? Nah, no thanks.
That just said
Right.
it. Fuck off.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So I'd be like, oh, sure, yeah. Don't worry. If I ever sell it, I'll let you know. But I don't really mean that because what's the chances that I would ever, first of all, remember? And if I did remember, again, why? Most things that I have at least some demand, or maybe not super hot, but enough demand that I feel there would be more than that just one random person out there who would want to buy it, right? So it just feels like to me, like, why would I reach you? Like, why should I give you first dibs? That's my thought. Like, why? Now,
Go ahead.
having said that, okay, I don't like to talk exceptions to the rule, but this is an exception to the rule. If it's a situation where the guy asking is talking about a piece where I know that that's what he specifically collects, perhaps a character or an artist, it's a little bit different, right? And I know that guy collects that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit different. And I may think, yeah, that, obviously this piece would be very nicely fit into his collection. So I would see it differently. So something like that, I would be, maybe certainly more likely to get back to that person and, okay, here's your opportunity now, But that's an exception, right? If it's just sort of off the cuff random, where the guy, like what he's saying he likes from your portfolio, it doesn't seem to be what he collects. It's just some random piece. No, not really. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I was just wondering if you did it in person, you probably get a better sense of their sincerity.
Right.
How serious are they really going to be about this?
Yeah.
And maybe at least I'm not going to sell it to you, but maybe I'll at least strike up some email conversation with you about stuff.
Yeah.
And if you still keep coming back, then yeah.
Versus
out of the blue, an email and calf from somebody you have no idea who they are. I can see how people would not be as into that as an in-person kind of conversation, maybe.
Right. Well, I have been, actually, it's funny that you mentioned it specifically. I have been at Jeff's house during those comic art collector gatherings, right? And where somebody's flipping through the portfolio and they say something like, oh, wow, yeah, it'd be awesome, would you ever, part with that or whatever? And if there's a chance that I might, right? I've been in situations where I've said, well, I mean, without an offer, I would never really know. I need to know how much somebody's willing to pay for something, to know if I'm willing to part with it. Sometimes money talks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I say that, they suddenly clam up and, okay, you're just wondering, whatever, just talk, like, okay, and that's how, to me, I know, okay, you're a joker. You're just a joker, like whatever. What does that mean? I'm kind of opening the door for you to maybe, hey, make me an offer right now on the spot. Maybe we can do a deal, right?
Right.
I kind of open the door that way, and they tend to back off or whatever. So yeah, but don't let that scare you. If you ever do end up at a meetup, yeah, man, do whatever you're comfortable with in terms of if you want to approach somebody and ask them to, if they'd be willing to sell something in person or whatever. Whatever you're comfortable with, as long as you're polite, I think it's okay. But I just think people who make offers need to be more realistic. Again, when it comes to things like, hey, let me know if you're ever going to part with that. Like, it's just me. I don't know what other people think. That's why I want to know from the rest of you how you think of that approach. Hey, let me know if you ever part with this. Do you take that seriously? Would you actually get back to them? Make a note of it and oh yeah, one day I'm going to get back to that guy who said he would buy it maybe if I ever parted with it. Like, what? No.
Well, it depends how serious he is, as you said. I mean, if he really was interested in the piece, he would say, here's my contact information, here's my card, here's my number, call me or whatever, anytime that they, it depends on, what they say, right? It's all depends. It's all situation dependent.
You kind of,
I know what I once did. for an artist that I know. He had a cover that he said, "I'm keeping this one. I don't want to sell it." So I said, "If you ever sell it, I want it." And I said, "Do you mind if I put my contact information in pencil on the back of the art so you remember?" He says, "Fine, go ahead and do that." So I wrote my contact information on the back of the cover and put it back in his portfolio.
Wow.
He's never sold it to me yet, so I assume he still has it, but I don't know.
That's interesting, actually. Wow. Marcus, I rejected Ruben's offers and made him buy on eBay. Okay. So I for the first time in a little while, it's not going over my head. I just want to explain what he's talking about. He's making a reference to many years ago. He started selling some Tom Grummett New Titans work on eBay. And I guess I must have won. I forget how the timeline went, but I guess I probably won one or two, and then was like, okay, he seems to put one up every week or two. And so I reached out and I said, hey, if you got more, is there more coming? Because if you got more, let me know, and I'd be happy to just buy it all at full price. I don't want a discount for volume, whatever. Like, we'll come up with the proper fair prices. I'll just buy it all. I'm interested. I'll take it all. And he was like, no, the consigner, he just wants to do it this way on eBay. And I'm like, okay, but some of this, like the two that I won so far, I got them for cheaper than I would have paid on let's say a dealer's website or something, So I'd probably make you more money if we, I'll tell you what I think they're actually worth, apparently. And he was just insistent, and he was no, I got to do it this way. And then Marcus, not forget weekly or bi-weekly. I think at a certain point, Marcus, you were only putting one page every 4 weeks. It was like monthly or something. I was like, shit. And that's the thing is like, I got to pay you shipping to Canada or to wherever the hell I was getting them shipped back in those days. I got to pay you shipping for every single goddamn time. Whereas if we just do a deal for the whole lot, right? I don't have to wait months to figure out what you're going to be selling me. Let's do it all now. So anyways, that's what it is. And by the way, Marcus, I just want you to know, only because it's been a couple of years now, I want you to know that you guys all know all those awesome lyrical changed songs that he leaves as posts, as comments on people's art posts on CAF. So I've done my fair share of those. And I want you to know, Marcus, a couple of years ago, I did one, and it came to me really quick. The lyrics came fast. I think I did it like in less than 8 minutes. And it's a song about how you and I used to deal for Grummett Titans art on eBay. The only reason I've never posted it yet is because I've been waiting, because I figured I'll wait to post that in the description the next time I post a piece that you sold me years ago, like 8 years ago or whatever that was. So I just want you to know there's going to be one of those Al Yankovic type songs with my lyrics all about our relationship in those days. So it's coming eventually. So just wanted you to know. Okay, well, thank you for that, everybody. Appreciate it. Joseph, because I'm glad you're here. I think collectors get turned off by ridiculous offers from people who value their sketches on napkins for Grail pieces at the equal value. Yeah, well, of course, people need to get educated. That's very true. I've always said that. You got to spend the time and educate yourself. A lot of people, they just don't want to have to spend hours going through auction houses and seeing results and, trying to remember prices or whatever. But hey, that's what a lot of us who know our shit, that's what we did. We look at so many auctions, the prices just tend to stick eventually, I get asked nearly every day for items. Many that ask every few months and offer fair money, so I keep them in my book. And yeah, that's what you mentioned. Yeah, okay. Oh, look, there's different ways of doing it for sure. Knights of Old says the worst are inquiries on NFS item, and the buyer wants you to make the first number. Yeah, exactly. That's the worst. Exactly. That gets even more. That's even more annoying when it literally says NFS. Exactly. And yeah, and they still say, yeah, would you sell it for how much? Right. And so I think it's more because NFS is the default when uploading to CAF. Is it? I'm pretty sure didn't we all have to type in NFS? I think, yeah. Is it a default? I don't think it's a default.
No, it's default.
It's
Is it?
default now.
Oh, is it? But it wasn't always default. I think I used to have to type NFS. I remember always typing it.
I think you used to have to, but not anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it. So, like, I'm sure more people think these days auction prices have made those of us saying NFS thinking about it as the zeros are definitely more attractive. Well, yes, of course. All is fair in love and art. Absolutely, Rick. Divorce. If anyone ever contacted my wife, that was about the wife thing, and told them the price offered, like, what am I on my ass to sell? It would be a bad time to see if I saw that person at a con. Well, what's the likelihood you would know who it was, though? You know, it's a higher offer way above market. If it's a higher offer way above market, would you take it serious? Okay, so this is many minutes ago. So, what was this in reference to?
I think if you had a piece not for sale, and let's say a similar piece sold at auction for 10,000, and somebody offers you 18,000 or 15,000,
Right.
you know, a serious and maybe generous offer, would you take it? Would you?
Yeah. I would. Of course, I would take it serious, because that's the whole point. That's how you know somebody's serious, when they're wheeling and dealing, isn't it? That's the best way to know. What are you willing to spend on this thing that you're asking me about, right? When you know what they're willing to spend and you can compare it to the market value of the piece, that'll tell you if they're jokers or if they're serious, or somewhere in between. You know what I mean? So I think all of us would take that serious, right? If they're giving you a way above market offer, right?
Yeah, I've only ever sold one piece of art, and I didn't even have it in my possession for 24 hours. But it was very unique to a certain individual who really, really wanted it for a specific reason, and they made an offer you can't refuse. And so, yep, it's yours.
Yeah? Like, how much percentage above fair?
I mean, it wasn't a huge piece, and I think for this individual, money was not an issue, but they doubled my money. And so, yeah, sure, it's yours.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Scott, is that true or not?
No.
Okay. Because
So I might consider it.
your name is Hoarders Hide, so
I can build another row shelf somewhere else.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So it's like, you
Hey,
never
Scott,
know.
is the ceiling held up by the comic boxes, or is there other structure? Because from that angle,
there's
okay.
8 floors above me, and they're all held up by this load-bearing wall of comics.
Awesome.
I'm getting ready to wrap up a deal with someone who approached with if you ever consider selling this piece, let me know. Yeah, but then you're also saying, you were the one who said that's how you approach people. So if you approach people that way and somebody does the same thing to you, of course you're going to relate to it. And of course that makes sense. And like I said, Dan, I can only speak for myself. So I'm just one guy. It's just one opinion, right? I'm not saying it's my way is the right way, the wrong way, or whatever. I feel I can't be bothered. If you approach me that way, yeah, I never get back to people. Think about it. Everybody on the panel, tell me, I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, at some point or another in your cap gallery, have probably received a comment on your piece as an actual comment saying, oh, nice piece. Let me know if you ever want to sell it. Right? A lot of people do it that way, you know. But I had people leave me comments like that. But again, no, I don't take it seriously. Like, why? Why, if the time came to sell, would I think, oh, right, let me look at my listing for this piece on my gallery, and let me scroll down to find that guy who had once said, let me know if you ever sell it. Like, why? Like, of all the people I should favor above all else, why would it be some random guy from a couple of years ago or what? You know what I mean? That's how I see it. I don't know. I just feel like I don't take it seriously. And I think, Miki, you were saying also you don't take it seriously either, right?
I don't take it seriously unless there's a number attached.
Right.
See, it's funny, Ruben, you say that, because I asked about a cover for sale.
From
He
me?
said, leave me a comment on the piece telling me you're interested in it.
Me?
So when he goes to sell it, he can contact me.
Who?
No,
you're not
another
talking-
collector. Another, not you, another collector.
Right. I'm aware of people who also have done that. Told people, okay, let me know by leaving a comment so I don't. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I know. That's why there's a myriad of ways that to go about all these things. And like I said, some of them that I think are crap to me, some other people tell me, hey, they work. They worked for me. Okay, what do you want me to tell you? That's why I'm saying I always want to emphasize. I'm just giving my opinion, what I like and don't like about these ways of, approaching other collectors. Yeah, we all have our preferences, our ways that we do want to do things, and we want other people to do things and the way that we don't want them to. I'm just telling my opinion. That's it.
Yeah, the one thing I'm going to say is that I have two friends. One who hates to receive offers of anything at all. He posts his art,
Just
and
hates
he doesn't want offers. And sometimes he'll put not for sale or offers over $1 million. He's done that on some of his pieces. I have another friend who actually took pieces off CF because you're talking about
DJ.
Well, DJ is the first one.
Yeah, the first one. Right. Yeah.
I had a second friend who took pieces off of CAF because he didn't want to receive offers.
Oh, he's just tired of receiving the offers.
Yeah,
right.
He just said, "That's it. I'm just taking this piece down."
Right.
So, some people react differently. We can only speak for ourselves. We can't really speak for everyone.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's it. Everybody's different. We all have different personality types, and some things that bother some people, other people are, they're fantastic with it. Whatever, it is what it is. So, so CJ, take your ball out if you're out of your person. Tell them fuck off. Okay, you must be talking with Scott here. I like to be wined and dined. I do not. I just want you to get to the point. Tell me the price you want to pay me. That's what I would love everybody to do. That's it. And by the way, just to make it clear, I'm one of those people who I'm not at all bothered by people reaching out who are interested in buying something I own. It shows me, that's fun to know that, hey, somebody, you meet somebody that has a similar interest. So I just find that fun. So that I'm okay with that. It's the approach specifically that I have problems with, because usually the approaches that I get, I just don't like them. I definitely don't want to be wined and dined, but just get to the point. Tell me what you want to pay, and that's it. And I'll tell you yes or no or whatever. That's it, So, if the guy can pay straight up Canadian loonies, that's the one currency I actually don't accept. FYI, in case anybody's ever wondered, never ever try to pay me with Canadian loonies. In fact, some people have actually in the past, they make a PayPal payment, and they always change things on PayPal, and there's this thing where like you start entering the amount you got to pay, and then the system recognizes that the email you're paying is a Canadian guy, so it opens up this little drop down menu next to it to say, hey, choose what currency you want to send. And so people think, well, he's in Canada, of course he must want Canadian funds, and so they send it. It arrives in Canadian funds. And I've had to tell the guy, okay, I'm using the refund feature. I'm going to refund this to you. And you're going to do it all over again. You're going to resend it to me because I don't want Canadian funds. No, because all the money that I get from art goes back into art. And it's always from, right? The world's online currency, the de facto online currency is the US dollar. So Canadian dollars is useless to me. I would then have to lose a ton of money converting it, back into American dollars. So it's like, no, never send me Canadian ever. Be a nice person. I am a nice person. He was nice enough to be respectful and not ask if for sale. Trust me, I'm always respectful about it. Unless the person was a prick, then I'll tell you you're a prick. But No, I'm always respectful about it. Promise a nice boxing day. Yeah, but often do you encounter another Grummet fan? I do not. Not often. Not often. Showing his true colors, whatever. Doesn't happen much now, but if you ever decide to let this go, used to be a common comment on pieces. No, I think it still kind of is, mostly on the day it was posted to CAF. Exactly. What else we got? I think someone who has a website and YouTube presence, you have less motivation to go back to those type of inquiries. That's true too. I admit that I wasn't thinking about that, but that's true too. Exactly. I have avenues through which to sell, so that's true. It just makes it easier. I'm just going to do it my way rather than seek out some guy from years ago or whatever. That's very true. Thanks, Carl, for pointing that out. But yeah, Rick says it, man. Money talks, bullshit walks. It's true. I believe in that. I've always believed in that. Those deals can close with a kiss. Every kiss begins with art. So making an actual offer on an NFS piece seems rude to me because you're trying to force the issue. And that's why a lot of people get pissed off about that. A lot of people get pissed off about that. And I admit that's kind of my... I'm still not rude, but I do get annoyed more by when you obviously see it says not for sale and you say, hey, is this for sale? And if so, how much? Yeah, that's it's too much for me, years later, it's you see that, Mickey? DJ says, years later, it's who the fuck is Mickey?
On the back of the art.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it has my contact info.
Exactly. So Jeffrey, I mix it up when approaching people on NFS. Sometimes I offer right away. Sometimes I ask if they entertain offers or open to selling, and I have mixed success with both. All right, well, at least you're trying both. You have to try different things to see what works. So nothing's worked on Mickey yet, though. I've considered sending a fruit basket next to see how that goes. Nice. Oh yeah, he wants your Fred, he wants your Bennett Supergirl stuff. Marcus, I'm not patient. I want to get to third base. Shit, I just don't want the 9-inning game to turn into one of those 23-inning record-setting longest games of all time. That's what I'm trying to get it to not happen, man. So I'm checking everyone's cap gallery as we speak, looking for cap art, so I can ask if anyone here would be willing to. Alberto, I'm just curious. How come you never wanted my cap 300 cover? Because I never talked to you about. I always intended to talk to you about that, and I always forgot. So I'm curious. Let me know. Maybe you just don't like that cover. But anyways, I get flattered when people contact you, even if not serious. I get the flattery, yeah, but I don't like it if they're not serious. Or they could be BS and never come through. That happens a lot too. A lot of guys like to talk like big talk, and then they're not really, big. They don't really come through, like you say. Mikhail came back. Stay away from Adam Hughes cap. Okay. Are the 8 floors above? Yeah, Scott wants to know. Are the 8 floors above also full of comics? Nice. What's up, Carlito? Good to see you, man. Holy shit. All these people that haven't been by in a while are showing in tonight. See, they like that because the round tables are always more fun. A lot more people that you get to hear from. Load bed, nice. Are they load-bearing long boxes, Scott? I think that's what. That's
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I built a shelf, so they have to be.
And what's up? Oh my God! Look at that! Our fellow friend Jason, who was supposed to be one of the guests tonight. Have we talked about blue lines yet? We have not, and we're not going to. Has Tom Grummet come up? He has, but in a very small way. 2 more friends than I have. Let me see what else we got here. I don't want to skip you guys. Let's see what else. Let's see. How come he didn't tell people to F off? Okay, we're not going to go there. Let me see. A lot of jokes. It takes a lot longer to go through shit when you guys are always joking. Canadian dollars are useless to everyone, even Canadians. Exactly. Bootlegging. I'm looking over the next Heritage signature, and there are 2 Tom Grummet pieces. Oh, by the way, how much did that? I didn't watch any of the auction at all. None of the days, none of the items. Anybody know how much that the X-Men Forever cover sold for, by any chance? If you do, let me know. By Grummet. Guys learning what no means no. I'm sure if this was asked or covered, but how do you go about dealing with collectors who ask you to make an offer? Okay, isn't that what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Ask you to make an offer on an item. Yeah. You got to rewind. We can't go through all of that again, Gil. We're getting towards the end here anyways, but Marcus, if you guys gonna see me, oh my god. Because it says NFS. Well, it's not even in my gallery. It's not in my gallery. It's not in my gallery. But I did offer it for sale for a brief time for like a day on one of those CapCons a couple of years back. And then decided, fuck it, I'll keep it, you know. Need some life on cap art. Let Alberto join the panel next time. Oh, I want him to come back. He needs to work to pay off his Hembeck addiction. Oh, he went crazy on Hembeck. Who cares about Grummet? Liefeld cap went for 132,000. Well, yeah. And I bet you we'll never find out who won that piece. Although winning for that piece is kind of a, I don't know if that's the right word, you know. But anyways, guys, fantastic. It's been 3 hours. I think it's good for all of us to call it a night, and I'm super excited to see that. Wow, all the way through, like I always expect, because everybody seems to love roundtables more than any other show I do. Up until a second ago, still 40 live viewers watching. Wow, so it was pretty consistent throughout most of the show, and it's rare after the 3 hour mark that there's that many. So thank you to all of you who are watching and stuck around all this time. As always, I really, really appreciate you guys. And what? All I can say, it was not me. I don't know who you're not talking to me now.
He's talking about the Liefeld cap.
Oh, yeah, the Liefeld cap.
Oh, the Liefeld cap. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great show. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it, Dwayne, as always. Thank you yourself. Yeah, everybody, have a great Thanksgiving. My guests here in studio, stick with me for a minute, will you? Are you guys cool if I stick you back into the backstage area for a minute or two to say goodbye, and then just wait for me for a minute or two?
I mean,
Sure.
Do we have a choice?
You do. You can fuck off if you want, but you do. It's up to you. But all right, say your goodbyes, and I'm going to put you in the back.
Good night, everybody.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Awesome.
Fuck off, everyone.
You're such a good guy, Scott. I love it. All right. There should be a way to do this all in bulk, but let me see here. One more move, and we go. All right. Yeah, so thanks everybody again for hanging out. It was really, really fun. It's been 2 weeks short of a year since I did a roundtable episode. So I can't believe it's been basically a year. So yeah, thanks again, everybody. Really, really, really appreciate you guys all coming out and hanging out with us. It's really, really awesome. Let me remind you, for those of you who only came in later, next week's show is a sales show. Here we go, Comic Art Show and Sell, number 10, a special Thanksgiving weekend claim sale, which who knows, maybe means a lot of people will not show up because they'll be busy finishing off the turkey leftovers and the stuffing. But whatever, there's always something going on every week. I gotta do a show. So if stuff sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm still gonna do it. So yeah, please, if you want to see what's available for sale, come by and check it out at the usual time next Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Let me quickly just jump back in here just to say individually, yes, have a great week yourself, Michael. Thank you for dropping in tonight and chatting. Ask him to stay to make his offers on the NFS pieces. Nice, Jeffrey. I like that one. That's awesome. Jeff, have a good one, man. Thank you. Alberto, same thing to you. Likewise. Tom, great looking out. I appreciate you hanging in. Thank you so much, man. Scott, I shall talk to you about being one of the participants in a future one. So thank you very much, man. Thank you for hanging out this long. Much appreciated. And yes, well, they're not new. They're not new. They've all been on once before, at least. Yeah. But it was new to you, I guess. But thank you. Great to see you, by the way. Joseph Damon, awesome. I hope to see you back here for some future episodes. It'd be awesome to see you again. I'd love to have guys come back every once in a while. Like Gil. Gil's been coming back. So thank you, Gil. And I have no idea what I'm even going to offer for sale, Marcus. So I have no idea how many pieces. We'll find out next week, I guess. And Mikhail, thank you, my friend. And thank you for leaving and coming back. That's awesome of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Time flies when you're having fun. It certainly does, Rich. Thank you. And Ruben's showing his guns. Well, more like the pistol show. You know, this is not the way to the gun show, but more like the pistol show. Let's say that. Thanks, Carl. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing your video. Hopefully you post tomorrow, your next unboxing video. And yeah, thank you again, Caesar, who's backstage. Daniel, I leave you with an OH Go Bucks. That's right. The next time we see each other, we'll know what happened in the game. The game, baby. We'll see. Have a good one, Daniel. And you too, John. Have a great night, man. So thanks again, everybody. I will leave you, as always, with the thumbnail for next week. Thanks again for tuning in. Come check me out next week. Let's have some fun. And yeah, have a great Thanksgiving. And especially for those of you traveling for Thanksgiving, please be safe out there on the roads. The roads are very busy. It gets very dangerous, as you know. Yeah, man, let's make it back home alive. And that's it. We'll catch you next week. Go Blue.